Voices drift on winds untamed, words like spells that can't be named. Close your eyes and feel the sound. Journey where no bounds are found. Open doors inside your mind. Leave the ordinary far behind. Colors swirl and stars align. In the meta mysteries you'll find.
Welcome to Meta Mysteries, where you don't know what you don't know. My name's Jonathan.
I'm Sean.
And tonight is Wonder Wiz Day, baby, for the live show. If this is your first time ever tuning in to a Meta Mysteries episode, you tuned in at the right time, because tonight we got Lord Byron Jester. What a do, sir.
It's going good, man. How you guys doing?
Solid.
Doing good, man. You're one of our favorite guests, man. So it's always a good time.
Yeah, I caught the last Wonder Wiz Day, dude. I thought all you guys crushed it, man.
Oh, awesome, man. That means a lot coming from you, dude.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah, you guys are crushing that.
Yeah, dude. You know, we're just diving into a bunch of different things and really looking into the deeper, more esoteric level of understanding. And got to be honest, like just with having you on and a couple other of our guests that we've had on, it's just been like, it's like the praying mantis going in there with astral surgery, just tweaking shit within our mind and everything. Because I swear the influence is crazy. Like, I'm just like, I feel like, you know, this all was meant to happen. You ever feel like that? Like it's all just, it was made to happen. And, you know, I'm just super stoked that we were able to, you know, kind of be friends with you and have you on the show all the times and learn from you. And as a matter of fact, I just bought some oregano oil too. So,
oh, nice.
I remember that time.
Yeah,
said that.
that's the best medicine you could ever have: oregano oil or neem oil, or both.
Yeah. Dude. So yeah, dude, we're really excited about this. We have been covering really quite a bit lately, and so I reached out to you and I was like, hey, it's been a little while. Why don't you come back on to Meta Mysteries, especially for the live show, because we know that a lot of the one love hearing you talk, and because you're a pretty eccentric kind of guy, and love that energy and all of the wild shit that you get into, and the guests that you provided over here with J.S. Garrett and L the Alchemist, fucking studs. You know,
people that we probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to speak with otherwise, you know, and so you speak on, getting with Byron, and it's like those little steps, and you get different levels, you know, and then the teacher, arrives. And so, man, it's just been a hell of a journey, man. And you've definitely been a part of that.
Well, thanks, man. You guys have been a part of my journey too, man. You guys kind of got the whole ball going with doing interviews, and, you know. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, whatever we can do to provide the outlet to be able to have these conversations and to be able to let a lot of this stuff, you know, out into the world. Because if you really think about it, a lot of this stuff was, you know, this was mystery school shit, and you had to be initiated, and then, you know, maybe you had to cut off the tip of your dick in order to get into it. They got weird with initiation back in the day.
Very quickly.
Yeah, we're not asking for anybody's blood, you know, unless you want to, you know, do some kind of spell with your own blood, then that's up to you.
We're not telling nobody what to do, you know.
I mean, you don't have to, you know. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, you were messaging me, or we were texting the other day, and you said that you set up your own church.
Yeah, my apotheosis is officially a tax-exempt religious nonprofit.
That's a gangster move, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It took a little trial and error because. So at first I was just going to do it for here in Utah, but we're not even sure if we're going to stay here. We were thinking about moving, and we're kind of thinking like Kentucky area, but we're not exactly sure where we want to go. Maybe Idaho, maybe Wyoming. I don't know.
Go to Louisiana.
Yeah. But someone was trying to tell me to go to Missouri, you know. Apparently all the cool kids are in Missouri right now. I don't know. But anyway, so I started thinking, I was like, you know, like I probably don't even need like an actual physical address. I could probably use like a digital address. So then I started looking at like which states are the best to file in. And number one, of course, is Delaware. Everyone knows, you want to file your articles of incorporation in Delaware. Number
Mm.
two was Virginia, and that's where I'm from, and that's where all my family is. So I was able to set up a registered agent for Virginia pretty easily. So yeah, so I'm basically an online church right now at the moment. So
That's awesome, man.
Freaking sick,
Yeah.
dude. So, I mean, what does that actually mean though? I mean, I know that, is it basically like a 501c3 kind of thing?
no, not a 501c3. That's what I think of the
Oh
501c3.
shit. All right.
No, it's a 508c1a church. So with the 501c3, you later on have to apply for and go through all these steps for your tax exempt status. But with the 508 C1A, and they do not make this easy to find out or read about or anything, you're automatically tax exempt. But, so I was even on, what is it, the state, uh, basically the Treasury for Virginia, right? And going on their website to file my articles. And yeah, they don't have anything about the 508 in there. And so I had to basically produce my own documents, which I was expecting anyway. But they want you to at least use the first articles for their template, and then add your articles after that. So I had to redo mine a couple times, but I got it, and now I'm yeah now
So
now I'm a church.
Are you like a pastor or a priest, or what is your title?
Okay, so I have the articles filed, and then I have my bylaws and my statement of faith and everything. I'm still kind of debating on what kind of terminology I'm going to use, because a lot of people, like especially like in the occult sphere, will use like high priest for the person who's in charge, and then priest for everyone right under them. And that's a pretty easy system. But then you also have, like minister, pastor, all that stuff. Here in Utah, the LDS have a prophet and then 12 apostles.
Mm.
So I almost thought that'd be kind of cool since I'm here in Utah to do a prophet and apostles.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I also thought about kind of using the tarot with like magician or magus and hierophant and all that. So I don't know how I'm gonna structure the hierarchy yet.
Dude.
So I'm gonna hash that out probably here pretty soon. But I kind of like prophet.
Yeah. No, that's
So-
cool.
Oh,
So when
yeah.
you filed all this stuff and you were trying to get it going, was there questions like, well, okay, well, what is your primary belief, or did it go into any detail
No.
like that, or just kind of
No.
more the logistics of
and,
the paperwork?
and that was the problem the first time I tried to file, was I was adding all this stuff in there, and so like after the second try, I just went bare bones and just did the basic for the articles, just what they need to know legally. And so I really had to specify, because they don't have like a tax code on the template, and they don't give you this option. So I had to write in an extra article that was specifically like, this is a 508c1a and not a 501c3. So, but it worked. I got it.
That's cool.
yeah.
Like, it worked.
So there's a few cool things. Well, number one is that I have to do it, in good faith, and actually start structuring it as a church. And so I'll probably here pretty soon start doing some live streams as a congregation at first, and maybe even like a Patreon, kind of like you guys are doing with this live stream that we're doing right now, something like that. But
Hell yeah.
but there's a few cool things. Like for one, since I'm going to be doing like ritual for hire and stuff like that, I'm going to that's one of those things that I could like write a deductible receipt for, because all I'm really doing is like praying for the person, just giving them a church blessing. I just have a better way of doing that. So
Oh yeah. Well, and then there's, the tithe dollars and everything. You can just call donations and Patreon support tithe
yeah.
money at that point.
So another cool thing is like if someone donates like a laptop to me or like a microphone or something, I can give them a receipt. And when someone donates like an item to a nonprofit, you leave the value blank, and they can put in their own value for that item. So that's how that works. So
Bet I got an extra mic, dude. Let me know.
yeah, totally, totally. So
It's actually worth about $3,000. I'm just kidding.
At least. Just put 4,
Why not?
yeah,
I blessed it.
and same with like services and stuff like that, so yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty rad.
Hell yeah. So is it have you thought about like maybe some of the terminology as far as like, is it going to be called a church or a temple or a cave or whatever, like, have you thought about that? Even if it is just online?
Yeah, I did put church in the name. I put it all in lowercase. It's just My Apotheosis Church. And so when I'm talking online and stuff, I think I'm just going to have it be just like My Apotheosis, and then church will be for like legal matters. Just add that little extra bit in. But for because but I put church in the name just to make it easier to go through and to get less pushback and to not like send off any red flags, because, with the 508, there was a lot of misinformation going around about 4 years ago during the Rona. And, like people were basically trying to run like businesses as churches, And so there was some misinformation going around back then about that. So I'm trying to avoid all that.
Right. Yeah, that's
but it makes sense to me because like everything I talk about is spiritual in nature. One of my core beliefs is like magic and astrology proves creation. So everything I talk about, everything I sell, every service I offer is all spiritual in nature. So so it makes sense to me.
What was your statement? Because you said that there had to be some kind of statement whenever you started this church.
Yeah, statement of faith. I think I'm actually going to retype it out. But yeah, it's just some stuff. I made sure to include like talismans, magic, and radionics as part of it, astrology, practical spiritual modalities, and stuff like that. I made sure to include all that.
Awesome.
DMT 30 or 40 times, or at least once.
So
upon entry,
I think it's called the NACC Church. I think it's based out of South Dakota. It's a Native American church, and they used to not allow outsiders to be a member of it, but or people that aren't Indian or indigenous. But now you can pay money and be a part of their church if you're like white or whatever, or black or whatever. But if you're a member of this NACC church, you can legally carry psychedelics on you and cannabis. I think it's up to 2 ounces of cannabis, like basically nationwide. I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 1 or 2 states or a couple states that are going to give you some pushback on it. But I definitely wouldn't mind figuring that out.
For sure. Have you thought about maybe a hat of sorts, maybe a apotheosis yarmulke type thing?
Oh yeah, yeah, a Jester cap.
Yes.
There it is, dude.
Totally. Yeah, so a lot of that I'm going to work out, but I'm also so this is just the beginning. Later on, especially like when I have a forum and all of that, I'm going to set up a private membership association too. And so my goal with the private membership association is, people would be able to post like PDFs for books and videos and stuff and avoid copyright restrictions because it's a private library. It's not open to the public, stuff like that.
An Akashic record type deal over there, dude.
Yeah. And then after that, I'm going to start hashing out irrevocable trusts or an offshore trust, stuff like that, irrevocable trusts. So at some point, I'm probably going to put everything into a trust with the private membership association and the church, and I'll just be the trustee of the trust. So, but
Wow.
trusts, they require a lot more research. You got to do it right, if you want. But once you put everything into a trust with the church and the PMA, you're going to be pretty, as long as you're acting in good faith, you're going to be pretty much untouchable legally.
Wow. Yeah, you really did your research on this then. Just out of curiosity, if you don't mind me asking, you don't have to answer it, but how much did it run you to start this whole thing?
Oh, the church?
Yeah.
It's like $75 to file.
That's it?
Yeah. It depends, It depends if you can draft your documents yourself, or if you trust yourself enough to do it and not need a lawyer to look at the documents. Like I said, it took me 3 tries because I got these little, like one of the details I had to get right was you have to have the spacing correct on the document. So if you draft your own documents, it has to be like 1.5 inches on the top, like 1.25 inches on the side, 1.25 inch on the bottom. Everything has to be like spaced out a certain way. And like I said, all of the articles have to be in the exact same order that they want them in, so.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Government is real particular about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but when I got it, man, I got it, and I'm stoked. So, and as soon as you get it right, they send you a document that's like signed by the treasurer or whatever, or the commissioner, and it says that like everything that you sent them is within the confines of the law. So you do get like validation. And I also got my EIN number from the IRS, and I'm going to set up a bank. And
there
then
you go.
Damn, dude,
I just
going
wanna, legit.
Yeah,
that is legit as fuck. I just want to know, what do I got to do? What does me and Sean got to do to become your apostles, sir?
Yeah.
He's all, you're not worthy, first of all. Second of all, don't ever ask that again.
All right, you can tell us to fuck off. That's cool, too. I was just, I felt like we were on that same level, but that's okay if we're not.
He's all, not even close, dude.
Did you see the comment in the chat that just popped up? It was like, well, shit, y'all. Let's make Meta Mysteries a church and the cult a real cult.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Shout out to Nora. That's a great idea. Me and Jacob have actually talked about that, like in the past, about forming like a cult of conspiracy type church, and it would basically just be like a MMA church of sorts, where he would just like go in there and train.
You could legitimately do that, because I mean, the term martial and martial arts refers to the planet Mars, the god of war. So you could do it as like a Marsian veneration.
Wow. Well, we're gonna
be so you absolutely could do that.
We're gonna be
especially if you had like a shrine, maybe with like Ares, god of war, and you bow to him as you walk in. Something simple like that.
That would be sick. I'm more of a lover, so maybe a little Venusian.
Venusian, yeah.
Byron's got me excited to go to church.
So, like I said, there were a lot of people trying to run businesses as 508s, and they started getting in trouble. At first, they were getting away with it, but then once a lot of people started doing it, they started cracking down on it. But with like a bar, I think you could pull it off, just because you look at the planet, the god of drinking, Dionysus, Venus, Bacchus, Venus, Aphrodite, Venus, I think if you were sincere in it, you could pull it off, but there were people that weren't being sincere in it. They just thought they were just trying to be above the law.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder how they go about that, as far as, like to get into like the moral aspect of it. There's cults all the time, and it doesn't seem like they can really do anything to stop them from, you hear all those stories where, they go and they drink the Kool-Aid, and it was seemingly nothing they could really do about it.
And everybody's having sex.
Yeah. And how do they determine like the moral of that, as far as what's good and what's not, without getting kind of opinionated?
I don't know, but some of those cults, like the Jonestown that you mentioned, were kind of like operations or like expansions of the MK Ultra, because like all of those mind control experiments that the naval intelligence and CIA and stuff were doing, they left a big paper trail So when they started putting them into like churches and cults and stuff, then they're able to kind of have like a tax exempt thing going, and then they were able to kind of create their own funding for these experiments without leaving that paper trail going straight back to Uncle Sam. So like a lot of those cults were straight up like intelligence,
Right.
And most of them are. Yeah, that's what I've learned is that most of the time shit gets like way too extreme and way too out of hand. There's fed hands in there.
Oh, well, I mean, if you look at Jim Jones, especially, he looks like a CIA operative. Like he literally looks like Stan Smith on American Dad.
Right.
Like if you put Stan Smith in Aviators, you got Jim Jones for sure.
Basically. Yeah, it's a wild thing, but yeah, that's whenever I saw that you texted that, I was like, of course you would. Of course you're gonna start your own
So
church.
you know what's even funnier about it? I called on Joseph Smith and the Angel Moroni to help me with it. So
and it worked.
yeah, much love to those guys.
Shout out. Maybe you'll find a couple of plates somewhere then, dude.
Yeah, because that's something that a part of the story that really stuck with me the first time I heard it in like third grade was, he was asking God like, hey, there's all these other religions. Which one has it right? And God's like, none of them have it right. You have to start your own church. And I was like, jackpot. So ever since I was like 8 or 9 years old, I was like, how do I do that?
Yeah,
that's great.
That's so much fun, dude. Just to get over the chat, Taylor said, how goes it? Happy Wednesday, all. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This is one of the bigger groups we've had in a little while, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that they're just here for Byron. He's the man.
Really?
I mean, who doesn't want to listen to Byron? It's been a little minute too. This is like, I feel like it's been like one of the longer times we gone without talking to you. It's
almost embarrassing.
I
think it's only been like 3 months.
Yeah, too long, Byron. Too long.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
there for a little while, we were doing like once a month.
Yeah.
And,
something like that. 6 weeks or something.
Can't
Yeah.
be going a quarter of a fucking year without talking to you, dude.
The fuck is that all about, dude?
Super Marky said, sorry I'm late, guys. Just got home. Had to shower. What up, Super Marky?
What up, dude?
Good to see you, bud. And then, of course, Nora bringing up the Meta Mysteries Church and Cult of Conspiracy, Real Cult. Man, I'm actually kind of jealous. It does sound like a lot of fun because,
dude, I think you and Jacob should get special like Macho Man Randy Savage style custom sunglasses made, like one that says cult, the other one says conspiracy across the lenses.
yeah. Well,
or maybe even just cult of conspiracies on one, just across it. Yeah,
we'll have to get a Slim Jim sponsorship.
Oh, I know, man. Some of those old Slim Jim commercials were so good. I remember the one was like the snowboarders, and they're like, wrestling is not an extreme sport. And all of a sudden, Macho Man shows it's not an extreme sport. And he's like using like all these like snowboarding terms and like dropping elbows on it, the avalanche,
dude.
He's like shaking the board upside down while they're still feet are still hanging upside down in it.
Those commercials were so ridiculous back in the day when we were growing up. I feel like they had just really figured it out. They really figured out how to get into our mind because some of those commercials I can still see today.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? It was like, I don't know, it was like the peak of understanding how to really get into the mind, and it was just everywhere,
Super Marky said, Jey Uso, one word, 4 letters. Ugh. Oh shit. Yeah, dude, it's really good to catch up with you, and it's awesome that you're starting that your church, and whatever you need from us. I mean, we're willing to help you with whatever you need, bro. So, you need any kind of technical support, you need any kind of, apostle, you need, you know what I mean?
He's not going for it,
We're making
dude.
ourselves available to you, sir.
Yeah,
That's
you
all
guys
I'm
could be
trying to say.
apostles. Yeah. You know what's cool too is but because I'm filed in Virginia and I'm not actually operating in Virginia, I can't use it to get any like property taxes off. But each church can have one property that's tax exempt, or you can have like a branch of a church into a, so I can open a branch in like Kentucky and that property could be, exempt from property taxes. But you're exempt from property taxes anyway. It's just people don't, take them to court and, get taken off the list.
I've heard of that, and it just sounds crazy to me that's actually a thing, but you just have to actually speak up and say, hey, I don't want to do this.
It's basically like McDonald's and Burger King and gas stations that are supposed to pay property taxes. People aren't supposed to pay property taxes because we have the
Oh.
right to own property. You can't tax a right because it's God given. You
Mm.
know, a lot of that comes from the bar association. Even with the 508, you know, like the IRS, I don't think is even legally supposed to regulate what a church is and how a church operates.
Mhm.
So the way they got around that was they had this separate tax code where you're automatically tax exempt, and as long as you file the documents, you're all good. But they just don't tell anyone that it exists. You can't even look it up on like when I was on the commissioner what was it called? The state corporate commissioner or something, corporate commissions for Virginia. It's basically the treasurer or whatever. Like I said, they had all the tax codes. You can pull them all up except for the 508. You couldn't pull it up. You
Wow.
know?
Mhm.
Yeah, they try and make it as difficult as possible. They trying to collect all that cheese, all the cheese they can.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, what are some of your philosophies and practices that you'll be preaching on church? First of all, are you going to be doing it on Sundays? Is it going to be a Saturday thing?
I think it's going to be Monday. I think I'm going to do it on Monday.
Moon Day, eh? I like
Yeah,
it.
Moon Day. And going back to pro wrestling, I think I'm going to call my live streams that I start doing on Monday Moon Day Night Raw.
Nice.
You know,
That's cool.
I might put congregation in there too, just to, make it, you know, just to stay in good faith and let them make it clear what I'm doing,
Mhm.
so.
That way it doesn't
Yeah.
just look like a hangout or anything like that. So is it is there any kind of like specific direction you're trying to go as far as magic and maybe the occult and stuff like that, or is it kind of just going to be wide ranging, all encompassing, eclectic? Like we just covered the eclectic witcher recently, and it's kind of like a
Yeah.
everything.
It might not be much different than what you guys do for your solo shows or like what you did for your last Wizard Wednesday. Where you just kind of go over like a book or some type of spiritual teaching and
Mhm.
reflect on it and stuff like that. So. But as far as like practices go, of course, it's going to be like operative. You know, like theory is cool and all, but there's a huge disconnect from theory and reality. So I just want to take people from right here and bring them up to about here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I like what you say too about how you feel that magic is essentially your God-given right. And we talk all the time about even like certain rituals, even,
Yeah.
and how easy and simple it really is to get into. And some people may call them a habit, but if you're conscious about your habits, then it becomes somewhat of a ritual, I believe, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, totally. Uh, I mean, the way athletes have their superstitions or commercial fishermen. I don't know if you guys are friends with any commercial fishermen, have known any commercial fishermen. I mean, those guys are they very superstitious, 10 times more than anyone you'll ever meet.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. My dad was hardcore in the casino for a little while, and every time I'd see him sitting at one of the slot machines, he'd be doing some weird shit with his hands. I'm like, "The fuck you doing?" He's like, "I have a process." I'm like, "Okay,
His little
Oh
woo woo
yeah.
dance.
yeah." But yeah, I think that's it's important, and I think that like we've talked about certain rituals and stuff like that, and that's really why I try every single episode to try and include at least one ritual to practice whatever it is we're talking about, just to show how simple and easy it actually is, and for the people that may question, where we're pulling this from, is it coming from the dark side? There is never any mention of a demon or a devil or an underworld kind of character or anything like that. It's really more so just co-create. I feel like it's almost like a co-creative kind of thing. Like everything that we do, whenever we put it into practice, it feels like you're working with the source or working with the universe or working with, if you're working with an angel or whatever, right? Like it feels very like co-creative.
Yeah, the more you do magic and especially if you can leave your superstitions and preconceived notions and programming, you know, leave that at the door. But it definitely doing magic, especially like consistently meditation, all that, having a consistent practice, it'll start to connect you with your higher self, with the creator, with all of that, and
Hmm.
so.
I wanted to ask you too. I saw somebody who, they were talking about the difference between, white and black witchcraft or light and dark witchcraft, the occult, whatever, right? And they say that the people of the light, they know not to do baneful magic because of the threefold law. Like whatever you do will come back to you 3 times or whatever. And then the people that are practicing in the dark, they are like just totally disregarding that. And so I wonder, just psychologically, even whenever you're practicing baneful magic, for example, because I know you've done it before, you dirty little boy. But no, I'm just kidding. But whenever you're practicing stuff like that, do you keep that in the back of your mind, or do you
No.
look at that as just like that's a stupid superstition that holds people accountable?
It is a stupid superstition, and it's a misunderstanding of the threefold law, because it's not what you put out comes back to you threefold. It's if I slap you on the face, it's your obligation to smack me either 3 times or 3 times as hard. You're supposed to return it threefold. So, if someone rips you off, you rip them off harder. Like
Oh,
you're supposed to destroy your enemy. I think it comes from the second initiation in Wicca. It might be the third, but I think it might be the second,
okay.
uh, where where you're going through these stages. The first one you get flogged like 3 times, and then 6 times, and then 9 times, and then after they're initiated, they flog you. Like so, as you lash them 3 times, they're supposed to lash you 9 times, and then 21, 27.
So that's a Wiccan rule then?
Yeah, it's not. If I put out negativity, it comes back to me threefold. It's if you bring me negativity, I'm going to destroy you. you know,
Yeah,
you
like
have an obligation to. Yeah.
Wow.
so it's even
Right.
more than an eye for an eye. It's my eye. You take my eye. I'm taking both your eyes, and I might get your nose.
Yeah, totally. So, but I and some of the black magicians especially might get triggered by this, but I do think there is some type of mechanism in this realm that could be considered karma, and there are people that throw a lot of curses around for no reason, and a lot of those people do get destroyed, and a lot of people think that's just action and reaction. I'm not so sure. I do think there's I do think there's like a mechanism here that could be considered karma, and I think there's ways to negate it too. And I think that's why some of the most evil people in the world do so many charitable aids. They all donate to
Yes.
charity and set up nonprofits, and a lot of these people are doing it in a way to subvert even more. But still, I think there's like these weird little like kind of like life hacks to kind of hacking the negative effects from some bad karma that you might get, or
Mhm.
deserve.
I felt that way too. Like anytime, let's say something is weirdly talked about in a movie, right? Something that has never happened, but then a year or two later, it's almost like that movie was a prophecy of sorts. And I kind of feel like they do that to kind of release the maybe the karmic debt that they accrue.
Yeah, it easily could, because it kind of puts it more on your lap,
Well, I think too, because lately the way I've been looking at things is that everything is so consciousness driven, and so I think it's more so to put that information out, and then almost like that karma that you were talking about, it kind of just sends it out, and if it's in all of our awareness, it almost makes it happen. If that many people are thinking about a certain thing, I feel like it's more likely to happen because
Oh yeah.
consciousness is involved now. And that's like, as far as I'm concerned, the way that I've been looking at it, I mean, without consciousness, you have nothing. And so I think consciousness is this, I think that's where the power is.
Oh
And I think
yeah.
that's the ether. That's the whatever that is when you send something out, you're sending it into consciousness, you know?
Yeah, and I think they've been trying to stomp out the whole idea of what America was supposed to be and the American dream. And I think it's such a powerful thought form, and it's in our conscious so much that I think they're having such a tough time stomping it out. You
Mhm.
know, like I'm sure if they, if they had it their way, we would have lost our guns 20 years ago. You know,
Probably farther back
but
than that.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
so
right. Well, look, I kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit because we've been covering a good amount of like wide-ranging topics, and I feel like we got a pretty decent understanding about what they represent and what they actually mean, and just looking at them for the actual esoteric meaning rather than getting caught up in verbiage and what did it literally mean. And I believe that we're at the point like we don't really give a shit if anything literally happened. It's all about what can you gain from the myth and what can you gain from the story, because I believe that that's really where the gnosis is. But just out of curiosity, have you ever looked into the Druids?
a little bit, yeah.
I found
You know.
that so fascinating doing that level of research. Now I know that it can be pretty skewed a little bit because a lot of their teachings were, burned or thrown away or collected, and maybe the Vatican has it. Who knows, right? But most of the stories really come from those who were battling them. And during that time, it was the Roman Catholics, I believe, that were really the ones going over there and trying to take them out. But even the Roman Catholics would admit that during that time, oh, hold on. Let me do something right quick. That even during that time, the Catholics would say they would meet them on the battlefield, and they would see the druidic wizards essentially like forming fog, or they could bring on
Lightning
rain
strikes.
or bring on lightning. Yeah, and it was just really wild. And so it's cool that even the enemy had something, what I would deem positive, to say about them. And I believe that they had to have been working with that kind of magic. I mean, do you think that that was propaganda, that was just their reasoning for taking them out, almost like the whole Nephilim story? Well, they had the tainted blood, so of course we had to kill them, or do you believe that, that kind of stuff was actually going on?
Yeah, I do. I do think they were doing magic. Yeah, and manipulating weather with magic it's not like an impossible thing to do.
Yeah, many
I
different
mean,
cultures have
we
done
do it
that.
with radionics. There's legends of Genghis Khan, if he was even a real character, but where he was causing storms to take out his enemies and stuff. And yeah, it's a thing, man. People do it.
Man, that is, I just think that is so cool. We're trying to bring it back, neo
Yeah.
druidism or neo druidry or whatever they're calling it nowadays. And you'll hear like some clapback on people saying something about that. Oh, you can't possibly be practicing what the druids were doing back then because none of their knowledge survived. And it's like, that's part of the reason why it's called neo druid. It's like the new way.
Yeah, totally.
But,
People, when it comes to trying to like revive these old traditions, people got to understand too, like they were using what they had available, so I don't think it's good to just be like dogmatic about trying to recreate what they were doing, because now we have a lot more to draw from.
yeah.
We have a lot more resources,
I think
I mean,
that's why.
just look at the neem plant, right? When I was talking about neem oil being like one of the best medicines, like I said, also works good for like removing curses and stuff. Like, that comes from Australia. Like we can just order that on Amazon whenever we want. I mean, or wherever. It's at most co-ops, most food co-ops. So
It's definitely an interesting time to be alive, man. Information
Yeah.
is everywhere.
At your fingertips, it's pretty special, I think. And I think that, for a lot of people out there that aren't necessarily too concerned about being too dogmatic in whatever their teachings are, whatever the lessons they're trying to learn is, as long as they can be open-minded, dude, a lot of this stuff really does make sense. Whether you're looking into witchcraft or you're looking into magic or you're looking into religion of sort, or you're looking into whatever ancient kind of mythology, maybe you want to get a little Norse pagan or whatever. And I believe that if you can remain open-minded enough about all of that, that you can kind of pick and choose, and some people might call that cherry picking, but I think that you could possibly fuse a lot of that stuff together, which, we recently did the eclectic witchcraft episode a couple days ago, and that was really all it's about. Like, and I know some people, like there's some witches that are like, oh, eclectic witches, all right, you're not grounded in any kind of one thing, you're just taking a little bit from everywhere. But I feel like that's the best way to really learn. And also, the same people that, if you really think about it, like I would imagine that maybe the first witch or the first witches or the first coven that was created, they weren't even necessarily pulling. I mean, what were the grassroots of that? They probably pulled a little bit from here, pulled a little bit from there, and started putting things together.
Look at American voodoo or hoodoo, but like voodoo from like Louisiana and stuff in the South. Like they drew from different European cultures, folk magic. They drew from Haitian folk magic, and they drew from like Native American folk magic. Plus like the Catholic and Christian influence on top of it. With the saints and everything. So, that's a pretty solid system of magic. It doesn't resonate with me too much, but it's a pretty solid system of magic, and all they did was just using what's available to them. They don't even use like some of the people in the hoodoo crowd. Instead of using like parchment paper to draw their sigils or veves on, they'll just tear a piece off of a brown paper bag, because that's the culture. That's what they were using in hoodoo. Instead of parchment paper, they would just use grocery bags.
Right. And a lot of it had to do with, what was available. We were going over that with this last episode, and I was like, yeah, it would make so much more sense, to just use what's around you rather than having to travel, 2 days to go pick a certain type of herb or what have you. You would just use what's around you and then just believe and assume that that's going to work. You know what I mean? And it makes so much more sense, man.
Yeah, and I'll say this though, when I got into radionics, man, I don't do a lot of sympathetic magic at all. Like radionics kind of changed a lot of that aspect of my magic a lot, and that just kind of goes with technology and things changing, I guess. But for me, it just works so much better when I just program a vigil candle, program all my information in there, fill it up with a bunch of awesome clean energy, and then light it on my altar and let the spirits deal with it. That's the closest thing to like plug and play for like a spell for me, But when I do sympathetic magic, all the times I've done it, like did like an actual like spell, it works really good, But I think the important thing is making contact with spirits, because there's a lot of people that are in the witchcraft community and they're almost just treading water. Like, they'll throw stuff together and do a spell, but like I really think you should master evocation number one. Like that should be like one. Psychic development is like key for everything, but like the one like magical technique I think is probably one of the most important things to master is like evocation.
Right.
Because when you can like effectively summon someone like Belial, you can almost do anything and it's going to work at that point.
Right.
So all the spell's really doing is just anchoring it in the physical realm.
Speaking it out, right?
Yeah,
it's interesting.
And knowing that you have that help too, because now this is something that I did want to ask you specifically, because I know that you work with a lot of help, and whenever you're working with that, do you literally, not figuratively, do you literally believe that these people, spirits, demons, angels are actually there, or is it something that you're telling your mind to believe to make the spell work?
There's definitely a spirit in the room. Now, are these egregores, or do they exist outside of the human experience? Who knows? It's like chicken or the egg at that point.
Right.
But you want to do both. So you kind of, okay, I'll bring it up right here because this is kind of important, I guess. So, you have the psychological framework of magic. These are all just archetypes, they all, part of your subconscious, part of creation, the human experience, anthropomorphized basically, to make it easier to work with and conceptualize. And the people that have that kind of mindset, they're usually a lot healthier and they're more stable as human beings, where people that strictly go on the literal aspect of magic, where these are real, they're separate from us, they're conscious and self-aware beings. Like those are the people that seem to suffer a little bit more with magic. But there's a rub to this though, because the people that are in the psychological framework of magic a lot of them don't understand just how real and physical magic is.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that subscribe to that psychological framework where they don't even think it's possible to curse someone or terminate a target with a curse. Where almost everyone that takes like the spirits being real and literal, almost all of them know for a fact you can kill people with magic. So it seems like you're probably going to get better results from the literal framework, but the psychological framework is a lot safer and healthier and stable. So I think it might be best for some people to try to find a balance in between that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And why do you say? Why do you, just to help me understand that? Why would you say that it's safer to do the psychological route? Is that because you're disconnected from whatever that is, or in the psychological route there really is no other thing to be connected to?
Well, you sort of. I think you had it right with the first part of that. But there's the other thing that it's like a mindset that these are already inside of you. Like these archetypes are already within you. So it's almost like a part of yourself that
Right.
you're putting out in front of you to work with. It's
Yep.
almost like shadow work, and that is true. I mean, the whole psychological part is true. The literal part is, it's probably mostly true. But it's like like where do these spirits come from originally? So
Mm-hmm. It's the
you,
unknown.
well, I mean, because you look at like angels, it doesn't matter if you're talking about the Christian pantheon, the Norse pantheon, uh, like basically every single religion, every single myth, all the pagans, everything, all of it was based off of the sky clock. Like these are all archetypes for like constellations and aspects of the human experience. Like
Mm-hmm.
every one of them has Mars as the god of war, Jupiter as the expanding force, Saturn as the constricting force.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is always the risen savior of man. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Goes to sleep for 3 days, rises back up.
yeah, and even like a lot of our secret societies are all based on the same thing, like the Freemasons and stuff. But say with instead of three kings following the star underneath the witness the birth of the sun, they have three ruffians. Instead of dying for 3 nights, he suffers three. Hiram Abiff suffers three deadly blows, and then he is resurrected.
Wow.
So
It's all the
it's
same
all
thing.
yeah, it's all based on the same concepts. It's not so.
And as far as the way that you're putting that, like just trying to understand these spirits and these deities and angels and whatever, psychologically, do you feel like essentially, if they are tulpas or most of them are going to be egregores because they're pretty well known, but like, do you feel as almost as if that you're projecting them from you, and that's why it's better to work with them psychologically as opposed to looking at them as if they're literal forces that you don't have any control of that are in the room with you? Is that why that the psychological route is a little bit safer?
Yeah, probably. But I try to have I mean, I basically feel like I'm in control the whole time. That's something I've learned a lot working with spirits. And there's some spirits you definitely don't want to piss off and be disrespectful to. But for the most part, even like feral spirits out in nature seem to be obedient to us for whatever reason. You know,
Mhm.
it takes some discipline and some willpower. But if you have like strong willpower, I think that for whatever reason, they're completely obedient to us.
And I think
Yeah.
that's why the Druids had it right, dude. They didn't go into a church or a temple. They just had the grove. They were out there in the fucking woods and they were working with the elements and the nature spirits and stuff like that. Like that makes the most amount of sense depending on what you think, if you believe that humanity is native to Earth, then it would be your divine right to be able to work with those things, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Some of the right hand path, especially the old school right hand path magicians, they had this mindset that we are created in the image of God, and the spirits obey us because of that, because we're a reflection of God.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And even with the law, how we started with the church and everything, the law is structured, especially in America, because we have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, mostly the Bill of Rights. But where it's like God created man, man created government, government created corporation, towns, boroughs, and statutes and codes and shit like that. So we're like up here above the government. And so whenever you get into like the legal process, they always try to bring you under their control. And but when you actually know the law, especially like the real nuts and bolts of the law, it because I used to always think that the system was so far gone it just needed to be destroyed and rebuilt. But when I started learning the law, I was like, holy shit, dude, our founding forefathers knew what was up. It's a pretty solid system. Like it works pretty well. We just forgot how to use it.
Oh, they were Freemasons. They definitely knew what the fuck was up, dude.
Oh yeah. And back in the 1800s, we were reading more books on the law. We owned more books on the law than Britain did. Because everyone was just reading the law. Everyone, even Joseph Smith, he allegedly was just some farmer, which I don't think so. I think he was a wealthy guy. I think he came from a little bit of a pedigree. But, he knew the law. He knew how to file documents, how to be a church. Everyone knew how to be a lawyer back then, especially people that were kind of wealthy and came from good families. They all knew how to be their own lawyers. All of our founding forefathers, that was one of the professions they had. They were lawyers, even though they were really farmers and generals and shit, but they all knew the law well enough to represent themselves and represent other people.
Oh, dude, they were super advanced too. Like even by the age of like 25, 26, they were so far like entrenched in their career and their understanding of this reality and their understanding of the law and stuff like that. It is pretty impressive to go back and look at like, all right, like Thomas Jefferson or somebody like that, for example. I don't know how old he was, but just hypothetically, whenever he was like 25, he was already signing the fucking Declaration of Independence, like shit like that,
Yeah.
And it's like, it's crazy that, how, I guess, well taught they were and intelligent they were and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's times be changing, but I think the tide is turning on that.
So it's one of those things, like I always mention that I'm a creationist, a hardcore creationist. And so I think it's one of those things where this realm was built just for us and we are the apex of this realm.
That's something I want to ask you, because we've had conversations with numerous people talking about, mainly our boy Optimistic Bank, shout out. And he brings up pantheism. And at first I was like, I'm like, I don't know, is everybody me? And am I everybody? And am I, part of the call it the creator or the one or whatever you want to call it. It's like, and I sat with that for a little while and then it started to make more sense. Because if there is no separation, then of course you would have some kind of, I don't want to say leniency over working with the spirits and working with the angels and working with whoever it is you're trying to work with. But like, maybe that's why you have certain like domain to, I don't want to say use them, but work with them. Right. And so I don't know. And also there's, just with my whole experience and DMT and going to the void and everything was gone. And the only thing that was there was just my own awareness and my own consciousness. And I feel like even whenever you go into a dream, like this is how I kind of convince myself of it. I could just be straight up with every single one of these shows. I question am I slowly losing it every single episode? Like I question that because I'm like, maybe I don't have it right and I got to start over from scratch, but I feel like I'm pretty on. But whenever it comes to that, like, all right, so when you go to sleep at night and let's say you have it, are you somebody like that? Are you like a prolific dreamer by any means?
Yeah, usually lucid dreams and all that go out of body. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So in that dream, who created that world?
Yeah. That's a good one,
Like it could all be us. It could all just be an absolute all total mindfuck because that world in the dream reality, no matter where you are or who your family is or what you're working or anything like that, that's happening in your mind, right? Like, or do we believe that this is you're jumping dimensions, you're going to other timelines? Then that's where it starts to get a little sketchy because we don't know. There's no way to really be able to like confirm that. But it definitely feels like to me that stuff is going on in our mind. And I mean, all right, who created that?
Yeah, well, yeah, you get to the point of like, what's the mind? Because like I think that our consciousness doesn't come from our brain at all. I think our brain is just a receiver for the consciousness.
Yes.
It's like a radio. you know.
Which
And I think that's like one of the things that some of the later Buddhists, like monks or prophets or whatever you want to call them, the leaders of the church, kind of got wrong because, you know, in Buddhism, it's they think there is no soul because the text is like, this is not the soul, this is not the soul, this is not the soul. So they take it as, you know, what it's saying is like you are not your brain, you are not your heart. Like these are just, you know, your soul is something else.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense.
You know,
I'd buy that.
and then you know one of the little you know a lot of spiritual people talk about it and some of the old occult books. But if you just sit and just close your eyes and just observe your thoughts and don't try to regulate them, don't try to control them, just sit in the background and observe them. Just let them come in and go as they please. You know, do that for like 10 minutes, and then you got to ask yourself, if I'm my thoughts, then who's that paying attention to them?
Mhm.
Who's
Yeah,
not
it
aware
definitely
of them?
doesn't feel like the version of you that's paying attention to them is actually coming up with the thoughts. Like you're not
Yeah.
literally constructing these thoughts, you know, in real time. It feels like you're just a witness of them, and that's the
Yeah.
strangest thing when you start to think about it.
Yeah. People aren't their thoughts. They're not their beliefs, you
Mhm.
know, and it's really unfortunate that so many people struggle with that, you know?
Well, they don't know how to separate it, you know, because
Yeah.
you've never really had an opportunity so much to be able to separate it. Because some people believe that, or they don't believe in meditation, or they don't believe in psychedelics, or they don't believe in breath work or anything like that. Like, and that's very unfortunate that some people
Yeah.
are taught that way. But
Well,
man, I
real
just,
quick to the people out there that are skeptical of this, try it for a month. Try
Mhm.
it for a month and then tell me.
dude, and it's
Yeah.
helped me out so much to be able to separate like this meat suit and just understanding that it's not me and
Mhm.
understanding that like it's up to me on, all right, am I going to react to a situation like this? You know, because all a reaction is just essentially kind of buying into the system. It's almost habitual.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're aware in the moment and you can keep that level of awareness in every single moment, then you're going to, most of the time, prevent yourself from reacting in a way that you're going to regret.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
think that's really interesting. Actually, I think that's the one thing that really separates us from animal. You know what I mean? Because an animal is just going to react. That's just their animal nature, their instinct, their protective, whatever. We have the ability to analyze a situation and almost rise above and or even access your higher self and see it at a higher perspective and really try to figure out what's the best way to go about this. You know, and sometimes we're better at it than others, for sure.
Yeah. And it's really sad though, you know, because so many people are so propagandized and they're so polarized right
Mm.
now. You know, you, you know, let's just take a polarizing subject like abortion, right? And you know, the left is like very like venomous. Like the Christians are pretty annoying about it, you know, preaching to like abortion clinics and stuff. Yeah, I get that's annoying, you know, because most people don't want to have to go through a procedure like that. So to have someone like yelling at a megaphone at you
Right.
is it's kind of a dick move.
Exactly.
But you know, just because these people are so like aggressive and venomous where they think you're like the most evil thing if you're pro-life, but if you really break it down logically, like just because someone thinks it's wrong to kill an unborn child, it doesn't make them a bad person. It kind of makes them a good person. You
Mhm.
know, it's same with like vegans, you know, like vegans think it's wrong to kill an animal and for an animal to suffer when you have other options. You know, like
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of vegans are pretty annoying, but you know, you're not a bad person for having that belief. It's just a different belief than you have,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Ultimately, you know, people really don't like being told what to do, you know, and I think when someone's telling you, well, that's wrong, or this is the way you should do it, it's coming from a, well, I have all the answers, you know, and you don't,
Yeah.
and you know, maybe one day you'll figure it out, and it's like, you know what I mean? That's I think what gets people really upset. You know,
Yeah.
this hierarchy of intellect or you know what I mean? I have the answers.
Well, it's the polarization that ultimately creates the trigger in the first place.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because some people are just gonna be like, I associate with everything that this side thinks, and it's
Yeah.
like that's not right either. Like
Mm-mm.
that's not logical at all. You know,
Right.
like and so and that's not even just political or anything like that, but just in order like. it's important to always be aware and put a substantial amount of thought into something whenever you're speaking on polarizing topics like that, and just try and become empathetic and sympathetic and try and put yourself in somebody else's shoes so that you can try and understand. And yeah, I think it's just such a dangerous move to group a large sum of people into they're all evil. Like that right there is how religious wars have started in the first place, because they're always seen as less than human, and that's not good. Nobody's parading that. It's like, so it's if you have awareness, you don't really have that problem. So yeah, it's very important to meditate. And to be honest, dude, like, I feel like other people have probably said this too, but goddamn, if we can just get all of the world's leaders together on like some kind of ayahuasca journey, world peace overnight, dude.
Yeah, I think people need to start learning philosophy and debate and understanding like logical fallacies. Like think about how much stuff that we have shoved down our throat, in the last like 10 years, and especially from like the neo left, and how much of that stuff can you argue without using any logical fallacy? Some of the stuff that we're having shoved down our throat, there's no way you could make any argument unless it was a logical fallacy. It would have to be like appeal to emotion, straw man, non sequitur.
Well, I think that's all part of the word magic in general.
Yeah. But I think people need to start learning about just logical fallacies and just start having like open discussion about it, So
right.
But the problem is like people are having these ideas and it's propaganda, shape their entire consciousness. So they're already putting up all these walls around it. So any chip in that wall, is it's dangerous to the ego.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest, I just love kind of just going against the grain, and whatever somebody deems like evil or whatever, even though it's not even etymologically true, I need to know, where did it all start? How did it evolve to this? And that was another one of the episodes that we did whenever we talked about the genius, the genie, and the jinn. And because people would just instantly assume that, well, a genie and a jinn, they absolutely are horrible things and you shouldn't be working with them, or sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, so just stay on the safe side and don't touch them. Whereas if you go back to its etymological roots to the genius, essentially these emperors were looking at it as what we would call it their higher selves. And they would, like, a certain emperor's genius would literally be worshipped, like in small like sector cults, and then of course religion came around and they kind of just grouped it all together into one thing. But I find it very interesting about how they have, and that's not even just with the genius and the genie and the jinn. It really goes back to even working with the daemons and how its etymological roots started with the daemon and how it eventually evolved through essentially religious bastardization, and evolving it into a demon. Now, I know that that's just the English conversion of the word, and they had a whole nother word for evil spirits, Hebrewically, if that's a word. But eventually they ended up turning it into the term demon, and the reason why they did that was because they wanted people to stop worshiping their daemon, and or stop working
essentially
with their
their
daemon.
higher self.
Essentially, their guiding spirit. Aleister Crowley called it his holy guardian angel, which was his daemon. And I mean, think what you want about Crowley, that's beside the point, but just to see how others have looked at those terms and have how they've like evolved over time, it's very clear that they have been trying to do their own version of word magic and manipulate almost the past in a sense, because most of the religions out there, they have nothing but bad things to say about paganism. But then you start looking into paganism, you're like, oh wait, they were working with the nature, like what? They were doing simple spells, they were leaving out offerings. Like, what's wrong with that?
It's all the same stuff, really, and even like, the magic and occult circles, they always talk about how the Christians ripped off the pagans and the Christians ripped off these pagan holidays and stuff. And I don't think so. I just think it's all based off the same thing. It's all based on the sky clock.
Yep.
It's all based on astrology and stuff. So, I don't think they're ripping each other off. Like, I don't think, like the Indians in New Mexico ripped off the Vikings, or the Slavics, but they all have more or less the same style of spirituality, the pantheon, same creation myth, you know.
Hmm. Just
Well,
different interpretations of the sky clock.
right. Yeah, they
Essentially.
basically took some older information, evolved it, made it theirs, and then said this is the beginning. Like and
This
that's
is the way, you know.
like
Yeah.
meanwhile it was just like a Crash Bandicoot checkpoint. It was never the beginning.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things, like I think it's all based on the same stuff. I think it's all the same thing. The problem with the Abrahamic religions, though, is it's because it's framed in like this historical, has this
Hmm.
historical framework, so people take it literally.
Hmm.
Even though you can find a lot of the same stories or aspects of the same stories,
Yeah.
in previous myths, like I said, it's not like they're ripping each other off. It's just based on the same principles.
Hmm. And I think that's the biggest argument when it comes to like, well, why is Christianity the one true religion? And I think that's where they go, is the historical fact about it, and geography and different buildings and stuff like that, structures, and they can look back and match it up and see like, oh yeah, see, it's real. This is what happened. So
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I want to get over the chat here. There's a couple people leaving some notage over here.
Yeah.
nice.
Super Marky said, no such thing as a dark side, just something standing in the light making a shadow. Good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, I believe
And
that.
I'm a creationist, and I have an ether framework. I don't believe in particle physics. I believe in ether field theory. And so when you look at the way what light is, so light is basically a disturbance in the ether. So basically the light is already there. We're already surrounded by light, but what we call visible light is that perturbation of the ether. So it is the exact same thing. It's just one's a disturbance in the ether.
Like the excitation of it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, that's
And-
interesting
and-
too,
and-
because there was this video that I saw literally earlier today, and I don't know if they were quantum physicists or whatever, but they was basically talking about the myth that light travels.
Right.
And I thought, holy shit, that is crazy, because we've always been told that, it's traveling at light speed, or it's 30,000 light years away, if it's traveling, via light. And, the example that the gentleman made, he goes, look, I believe that they've proven it, at least according to him, that light doesn't travel. And he goes, well, if light's not traveling, then what's the medium that allows this to happen? He started going into the ether and stuff like that.
Right.
And he goes, and he made an example of, think about whenever you're at like a football game or a baseball game or something like that, and the whole crowd and everybody in the stadium is doing the wave. And he goes, now, whenever you as the individual that is participating in the wave, whenever that wave starts to come around, all you do is stand up, raise your hands, and then sit back down. You didn't travel with the wave. You were just kind of accentuated during that wave. And so that's kind of the example that he was giving, as far as like light doesn't travel. It's almost just like being exposed or accentuated or excited at that point.
Right?
Yeah, it's a rate of induction. Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
So interesting
Wow.
to think about it like that. And dude, it would have to be the ether. What's the other medium?
Yeah.
I mean, when
Well,
you look at it that way.
they call it different things now. Like in the metaphysics community and alternative community, orgone, scalar. You look at quantum field, Higgs boson, and stuff like that. And then they have like all this like just complete retarded ideas of like virtual photons, virtual particles, because none of it actually makes sense. So they know that there's a field there, but because of Einstein and because of the ramifications of the ether, they just won't allow it, because then they have to go back and question the very beginning of the history of all that, why they had to take it out of physics.
Which is actually pretty interesting too, if you think about like just implementing that into shadow work, for example. Because if you're worried about not dealing with things of your past or things that you're self-conscious about or whatever, and you're not dealing with that shadow work, the light always exists. Right? You just need to shine the light there or excite the light that is already there that is being hidden, right? So there is technically there's nothing that's not in the light at that point.
You could almost look at Lucifer, as a magical archetype, being the light bringer, is being the disturbance in that ether.
Mm.
Oh shit, we're
the
getting
disturbance of the darkness.
Yeah,
like
and there is a disturbance that happens when you work with some of the the demons and Lucifer and Satan. That you are kind of kicking up all this stuff that's kind of buried. That's why I think it's important for people to start off with like angels or have a spiritual practice before they just jump into demons. It's not that big of a deal, but the more issues you have and unresolved trauma, all that stuff's going to come up pretty quick. So, some people can handle that, some people can't.
So from that metaphysical standpoint, though, and you bringing up Lucifer being the light bringer and basically the disturber, I mean, why is it then that a demon or somebody who may be notable of the dark side would be able to shine the light faster than an angel, metaphysically speaking?
Because you can look at them as being archetypes of the dark subconscious.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, of the material world, too, right?
Yeah, and they're the closest to the yeah. Because I mean, that's another cool thing when you work with demons is they have a stronger energy. You feel they have a distinct energy too. They just seem a lot closer to the physical realm than like angels do.
That puts a interesting spin on things whenever you look at shit like that, though, right? Because now it's like, let's just call them demons for the sake of conversation. But if you're bringing, let's just specifically call on Lucifer. I mean, knock on wood, I'm not really calling on you, bud. But because we always everybody says that's who we're calling on. No, don't make the mistake. I'm not saying that. But let's say hypothetically that you were doing some kind of shadow work or you were going super deep in some kind of meditation to really start working on yourself or ask for some kind of material gain or something like that. Then essentially the demons would be the angels of the shadow realm.
That's
so
actually,
I have thought about that a lot. That especially with the Abrahamic religions, how they're polarized and they're just kind of split. I have thought about that. Because you have the 72 angels from the Goetia, then you have the 72 demons of the Goetia, and I was wondering if they were almost the same entity, just down further to a more dense manifestation,
different geological place that they just so happen to take up.
Yeah.
Damn. We're getting philosophical.
I thought about that a few times, but at the end of the day, who knows? At the end of the day, who knows?
Well, it's all about what you accept, though, isn't it?
It's hard to say. If it works, it works. First of all, that's number one. Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
So it's worth experimenting with and asking them.
All right. Oh, you're going to get me interested in working with demons now. God damn it.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, they
just lost our followers now. God.
they're more interesting than a lot of other spirits, but you don't have to work with demons, but I mean they work so fast, they have a unique energy. You feel it right away. It's more profound of an experience and they work really fast. But you should be a grounded person first, I think. Work out some of your issues from your childhood traumas. But I mean, everyone's different, though.
I'm just saying, for the sake of science, Yeah.
Well, I think from a pragmatic standpoint, I think demons are pretty much the best to work with.
Now, does a demon always want some kind of offering or sacrifice in order to work with you? Is that every single demon across the board?
No, I don't think so, but I think it's a good practice to have.
I mean, I'm okay with offering up, you want to pour a little whiskey on the ground. That's cool.
So a lot of it is just energy, it's not like let's say you pour a libation of like coffee into the ground, right? The spirit isn't drinking the coffee; it's the energy of it. You know, so the act of evocation. You're condensing the energy uh into a single source, and you're basically giving that spirit a body, with your own willpower. I mean, you can almost look at that as an offering because you're giving it a lot of energy just evoking it. I still make offerings a big part of my practice, but with radionics though, you can do the energetic blood sacrifice, and that works pretty good for an offering.
Yeah, but you're using just like the diabetic pricker too, aren't you?
Oh, for blood, yeah, 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 yeah. Just use a little lancet. Doesn't leave any scars. Doesn't callus or anything like that. All you need is a couple drops. But
And that will do you.
If we get some property when we move out of if we move out of Utah, I wouldn't mind staying here. My woman hates it here though. She hates the people. She hates the desert, and I love it, man. I'm getting a tan. That's why I've been itching. If you see me like kind of reaching down, I'm like scratching because I had a pretty gnarly sunburn and it's peeling now.
Nice.
Because
Best part.
coming from the Pacific Northwest, I've never had a tan in my life. So now that I live in the desert, I really want to get that like old school pro wrestler Hulk Hogan skin of a hot dog look.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Super Marky said it reminds me of the star card in tarot. She's pouring water on the ground and in the water, the light and the dark, the dark at the same time.
Like acknowledging both.
Yeah.
Because essentially they're both there. And I think we all have that aspect of ourselves as well. And when you're someone is fucking with you and that little bit of the darkness comes up because you just want to like kick some ass or you know what I mean, or say something mean to somebody. Yeah. That's all in us. It's not like a separate thing.
Every one of us, sometimes good people do bad things. Sometimes bad people do good things. I mean, you guys remember high school? Did there were kids I saw in high school that were like huge douchebags, and you run into them like 10 years later at like a bar or at a party or something, and they're like super nice, super chill, like awesome people because they're not a 15-year-old little punk kid anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm still curious too, though, about why the demons work faster. That's one thing that, because usually I can like, okay, that kind of makes sense, but I really just don't understand why that is. So, is that across the board with a lot of the people that you've spoken to, or is that just?
I mean, is it possible that it could just be a psychological thing that that the demons are a little bit more promiscuous, and you're not necessarily asking for permission if it's good or evil? Like, could it be that too?
Yeah, there is some of that. Angels work really slow. They're pretty safe. They're really healing. That's the one thing I think angels excel at the most. Just being in their presence will make you like if you work with nothing but angels for like 6 months, it doesn't even take that long, like 4 to 6 months, maybe 7, 8 months. You're gonna look younger and healthier and have a brighter glow and will probably even get hit on more. But you're gonna look younger and healthier with a brighter glow working with angels than you would with demons, so but if you're cleaning your aura and you're doing energy work and all of that, you're not gonna, it's not like demons are gonna make you look ugly, but but I definitely think angels, you're gonna look better, you'll basically look more attractive if you work with a lot of angels,
more luminous,
right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Kara said, I feel like it held me back thinking I had to have everything perfect if I truly started practicing, but magic really is about being playful and learning from your intuition.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's a good point too. So when I first started taking magic like super serious, I was doing a lot of the planetary magic and everything, the whole thing of like everything needing to be perfect, because you have a specific day and hour that you have to do everything. Let's say you get off work a little late, or let's say you got home late at night and you just fall asleep and you don't do your evocation. It screws up your whole path working, So I kind of stopped caring about that stuff a lot after a while because it just started hindering my my work. So worrying about everything being perfect, especially with like spells and stuff too. There's a lot of people that they don't have this one item, so you just got to work around it. I think the important thing is just doing it, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, that sounds about
But
right.
I agree with that, especially the whole playful thing. I think that's a powerful manifesting tool, just being playful.
Right.
Bring the
Which
spirit
goes
of a
along
child.
with, if you feel like you're not doing it right or you're putting too much on it, like you're putting too much effort into it. Now you're not really having fun with it. Now it's too stringent,
Yeah, well, that depends on your life circumstance because some things come up and it's hard to you're so emotionally invested in it. It's hard to
Mhm.
it's hard to put that aside.
Right. And in that case, you just don't go through with the right or what have you.
Or you can hire someone else. You know,
That's fair. Yeah.
so there's also that.
Well,
Like because if I'm not emotionally attached to it, it'll be easy for me. JS. Yeah, it's no problem for him. You know.
good point.
He's going to sacrifice the chicken anyway, so might as well do it for you.
Put you on the schedule,
Yeah, totally.
No more quails. He learned that lesson the hard way.
Yeah, yeah.
He said his veins turned cold, dude. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Dude, magic's a trip. The way it manifests sometimes, the way it'll change your physical appearance is a trip. That's like one of the main things. If you work with like really masculine gods, you'll probably start taking on some masculine features. If you work with like really feminine like goddesses, you're probably going to start taking on some of those. A lot of people that work with especially the death current, like not just necessarily summoning dead people, but really work with the death current, necromancy. A lot of those people start they start looking dead.
Oh,
they
shit.
start looking like crap. They start getting all pale and blotchy.
You're literally embodying it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there's people that work that don't have the same side effects. So there's a way around it. I think I've never gone really hard on the whole death current thing.
Well, that actually makes sense. Electro Nick working with the Pleiadians, and I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of them, but they're always usually beautiful. And so, of course,
yeah,
Nick
celestial,
flowing,
totally
flowing locks.
Embodied.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, Super Marky said, make higher self decisions.
Yeah, totally.
That's a big one.
And that's hard for some people because some people are just so dense and in their ways. I mean, how many people are even conscious of the decisions they make?
Well,
and reactive, right?
And not to get like biblical or anything, which I think that there's like a lot of, one-line bangers in the Bible for sure. But, to be in this world, but not of this world. I mean, is that not it like saying to go with your higher self essentially in so many words?
Yeah. And this place is pretty distracting. You come here, stuff starts happening, life happens, and you just kind of, forget about your whole mission, which your mind is wiped as soon as you get here anyway. So you forget what your mission is right from the get-go, but then life happens, you go through a breakup, maybe someone gets strung out on drugs. I don't know.
It's funny. It's interesting how that works out. We have information around us, like so much more so than ever, but yet we also have more of the distraction as well. It's just,
oh yeah. And everything's so oversaturated now. That's a real problem in the age of information, like
it's too much.
Like TikTok is just like 1 billion hours of nothing. Yeah, apparently there's some good stuff on there. I don't know, but dude, I hate TikTok, dude.
I love it personally. It's one of my favorites, dude. I can stay going down a rabbit hole over there as long as you like type in the search bar what you're looking for. Then you prevent yourself from stumbling across information you don't really care about. But yeah, Kara said, I would assume it's got to be about respect. Darkness is not equal to evil, contrary to what the world wants to put on it.
Oh yeah, and that's something I always talk about when people bring up evil. It's like, can you even define what evil is? Like, are wolves evil? Are lions evil?
Right.
Are alligators evil? This is just like everything's a part of creation. It's an ecosystem.
Yeah. And I think they use that term dark, every time they're just trying to explain something that they don't fully understand, as far as the cosmos go. There's like the cosmic web and everything's kind of expanding in a manner that almost as though there's something connected to everything, and they call that dark matter because they know it's there, but they can't quite figure out what it is or why it is.
It's like a placeholder term.
So it's dark matter.
Yeah, yeah. We don't know
Yeah,
it, so
see,
it's dark.
that dark matter was another like ad hoc thing that they just kind of threw out there because, observation wasn't matching theory. So instead of going back and maybe reinvestigating the theory, they just threw something together that didn't make sense.
And to be honest with you, I kind of think that whatever that is, because they don't know what it is, I think it ties into everything that we talk about here in the metaphysics, and it has something to do with what makes everything possible.
I mean, it could be the etheric grid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it seems to connect everything together, and so I mean, we call ourselves the one. It's like that's that. But
yeah,
I don't know.
It's all like the silver cord attachment or some shit.
Yeah, dude.
Nick said, "What's y'all's opinions on deja vu? What is your opinion on deja vu, Byron?"
Yeah, when I was a kid, especially, and it still happens now, but when I was a kid, it was like every day. But I would like wake up and dream what was going to happen to me throughout the day. And there would always be like these key things that I would always try to like change the outcome of, and I never could. So I don't know, man. I've had profound experiences with it, and but that experience as a kid kind of, I have my doubts about free will, and I lean more towards destination.
Oh, it's your destiny, destiny. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I don't know, just with how my mind operates, especially these days, I almost look at deja vu in the same sense of synchronicities. Like how we would look at a synchronicity, like whatever your special number is or whatever is special to you, and it always just so happens that you're able to catch it, whether it's 111 or 1111 or 444 like Nick or anything like that. It's always like just almost like a reminder that this place is not as grim and just only physical as you once thought. It's almost like a reminder that there's so much more to this in a sense. And some people, just chalk that up to coincidence, which is really sad. But because it can be a special thing, but just going off of like what, Bashar says, it's like it's all meaningless up until you apply meaning to it. And I think that that's really, and I could be wrong. Maybe that's just a woo-woo way of looking at it. But I think that it's all just subtle reminders that this is a temporary thing. So don't get too caught up in it. Yeah.
So, man, I think deja vu is either like remnants of our past life, or it has something more to do with predestination. Like the events are just playing out the way they're supposed to play out.
I go back and forth with that as far as the predestination thing.
Oh yeah,
because deja vu is one of those things that it forces you to think that way. It's like, oh, this must have happened already, and if so, then did I have a choice upon arriving here?
It's one of those like loaded like theosophical debates or whatever, like conversations that you can have. It's such a loaded thing to debate about, predestination or free will.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that there's some free will, like with enough hard work and discipline. If you get really good at magic and psychic development, you fortify your willpower and have a connection with your higher self and everything. Like I would like to think you would at least be able to achieve moments of free will.
I mean, I like to think about it, to pull a line from Joe Dirt. It's like, I like to see homos naked. I mean, I like to, life is what you make it. You like to see
what now?
Yeah. It's like a life is what you make it kind of situation. I don't know. I mean, I think that it's all about like how you look at the world. It's always going to interact, according to how you're like through the lens that you're looking at it. Like it works with you kind of thing. That's something.
Life's a garden. Life's a garden. You make it work.
Gotta dig it. So moving on, Britt said, I'm thinking if demons are closer to our density, that might be why they work faster, because they are more at our level versus an angel that would be at a higher density. It would take more work for them to shift down the energy to our realm to help us. Yeah. And this is actually goes into the conversation of the, Oh, it was the red shift and the blue shift
Yeah.
conversation that we had, which essentially is about, you know, like the idea of blue shifting for humans would just be about raising your frequency so that, you know, the angels or the higher level entities would be able to match you and they wouldn't have to go down so far. Whereas, you know, if you're red shifting and angels would have to red shift, or it's back one of the other ones, I can't remember which way, but that angels would have to red shift, which, you know, kind of lower their energy or whatever to be able to meet us in the middle. And conversely, the other way, that we would have to lower ourselves, i.e., fear, depression, anxiety, whatever, in order to be able to communicate with the underworld or the lesser density entities. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally think so. Yeah, with the angels, I mean, it almost there's times, especially like when you're new to working with them, there's times where it almost doesn't even feel like they're in the room with you, you know. But then you'll start noticing changes in your appearance and changes in your life and everything, you know. So, and that's
Yeah.
another big thing, man. If you're not picking up on the spirit or you're having trouble, just go through the motions like it's there with you and close it out, because chances are you're just not picking up on it, you know, or you know.
Yeah, and that's what Britt says, or it means that you're here, but you're not really from here. And that's the conversation right there, right? Like, because so many people are attached to this human body, and that's how they believe that that's who they are. Meanwhile, everybody understands this is only a temporary thing, and that obviously, like, I mean, and this is where it gets a little convoluted, because were you alive before you were born as a human? And are you going to be alive after you die as a human? But if we are to believe that we are spiritual beings and, you know, energy can't be created nor destroyed, only transferred at that point, getting into a little thermodynamics there. But like, if that's for real, and I believe that it is, then you know, it's all about kind of like what you're vibing with at that point. Like, do you see yourself strictly as a human? Then maybe you're limited on the different magical things that you can do. Whereas if you see yourself as more than just that, as the soul or as the energy or as the spirit or whatever, then maybe you would be a little bit more inclined, a little bit more successful to be able to work with the higher level entities. I don't know. I'm just theorizing.
Did I ever tell you guys this story? When I had my memory of dying and incarnating into this life.
Yeah, I believe you went over that. Yeah.
It was a car crash or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I died in a car crash. It looked like a late 70s model car. And I remember just being in a lot of pain. I think I was upside down. There was parts of me hanging out that shouldn't be hanging out, you know? And I remember like, this, you know, I'm like 3 years old when I had this dream, like 3 or 4 years old. It's probably like closer to like 2 or 3. Cause like I said, like I wasn't even in kindergarten yet, but so in this dream, you know, I'm beat up and getting a car wreck. I think the car came out of nowhere, ran me off the road or something, one of those situations. And I was in so much pain. And I remember asking God, like, all right, if I'm not gonna make it, can I at least like not suffer as much right now, you know? And so, you know, like if I'm not gonna make it, just take me now, you know? And then everything. It wasn't like I saw a light. It was like everything dissolved into this white golden light. And as everything materialized, like I guess dematerialized into the white golden light, all the matter went away. I started going up, and then I'm up in like just like a black void, and there's just like this wall of like a golden light, and it's everywhere, and it's really imposing. And I remember being there before. All right, I remember being there several times before. And then I look behind me to see what was behind me, and I see like a silver light that's kind of further away, almost like a tunnel. And I wasn't sure which way to go. And I hear some voices calling for me down in the silver light. And before this happened, though, like, so I'm not sure which way to go. So then I try to remember my past life, because my life just flashed before my eyes before this happened, right? Parts of it. And so I try to remember my past life, and it was already erased. Like the mind wipe happens right away.
Wow.
So I hear these voices down the silver light, and I decided to kind of creep over there, like maybe I could get a closer look, and I got sucked into it. And then I yelled at myself, "Don't fucking forget this time!"
Hmm.
And then I wake up in the car, and I'm like, "Forget what?"
That's a trip.
So I think the silver light is the reincarnation trap, and I think the golden light takes you back to source or whatever is on the other side of that end. But I had this realization, uh, associating it with the Tree of Life and Kabbalah. I think it was after the Cult of Conspiracy interview that I did. I think it was like right after that. But I started thinking of the Tree of Life glyph. So I started associating the silver light with the moon being the reincarnation trap, and the sun being the returning you back to source. But if you look at the Tree of Life glyph, on the other, so basically, like, let's just say, like, let's just put my spirit where the bar going in between Venus and Mercury is. Can you pull up the Tree of Life real quick, Jonathan?
Sure. The what is it called? Like the Sephiroth or some shit?
Yeah, just Tree of Life. Yeah, yeah, Kabbalah Tree of Life. The basic glyph that everyone knows with all the spheres and everything, right?
Mm.
Yeah, I got you. Here we go.
And so I started thinking, like, okay, if the silver light is the reincarnation trap, there we go.
Oh God, come on now, come on back. All right, that was not better. We're just gonna stick with this. All right.
Okay, so the Earth is Malkuth down the very bottom, right? Yesod is the moon that's like right above it. So let's put my soul in that bar going right in between Hood and Notchak or whatever, that's Mercury and Venus. I'll just do it with the planets because make it easier. Okay, so you got the Earth, you got the moon, then you have Mercury and Venus going parallel right there. Then you have the sun, and on the other side of the sun is like Kether, which would be like the head of God, right? So I started associating. I've been associating that the bright light of the sun for a while, and the silver light with the moon for a while, and I almost think they have it mapped out here because, like I said, if it is associated with the moon, that silver light, and it is the immediate reincarnation trap. Look where the moon is, and it just fast pass straight down to the Earth, right? And then if you look at the sun, it would be a fast track straight to the head of God. So I kind of had that like realization. Huh?
Which one's the sun? What is it called?
Tephiroth, right there in the middle.
Oh, right here. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
wow.
Da'at right up here, that was kind of added later a little bit.
Okay. The individuality.
It's not a real Sephiroth. It's like it's kind of weird, but that'll also take you to the night side, But yeah, but I totally had that kind of realization that the glyph right there could be almost encoding the whole reincarnation cycle.
Oh, it's interesting that the sun would be represented by Michael and the moon would be represented by Gabriel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Because whenever you did that, because the last time you were on, we did that, the meditation where essentially you were guiding it and you called on the different cardinal directions and then the different angels and stuff like that. And Michael and Gabriel, for me specifically, was like, I felt that. It wasn't just my mind. It was just, I let go and I felt a full-on presence whenever you mentioned both of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was the way he was chanting it as well that really did something.
Oh, we're going to have to get weird again tonight, Byron. You down?
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Hell
yeah.
But yeah, so I had that realization, man. I think it was like right after that cult of conspiracy interview. I think it was right after that I had that realization with the Tree of Life, associating with the Tree of Life.
Are you saying that we opened up your third eye over there, sir? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, something happened. It just popped in my head. Like it was like right after I finished, man. It was like right after I got up, I was stretching. Man, sitting down for like 2 or 3 hours. I think that one was like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it was a little while.
Oh yeah, they go for a bit over there.
Oh yeah. It's not crazy to go for 3 over there, but and that's I love those episodes for the opposite reason that I love meta mysteries. Like
Yeah.
they're so different. Like me and Sean, it's like, all right, we're going to take something and try and go as deep as we possibly can with it. And there's no holdups, there's no stick ups. It's just like we're working together to really try and understand it. Whereas over with Jacob, I mean, I can't even get to a checkpoint without being checked, you know?
Yeah, he has a very intense personality. Smart guy though, dude. Jacob's
yeah.
smart motherfucker.
Absolutely.
Smart dude, you know. He's a smart guy.
He makes me think. And to be honest,
yeah.
I love that. Like that's my favorite part about the cult is that it makes me think. Especially like earlier, for example, we did an episode with the cult and it was about some kind of gassing type of situation that was going on in Illinois back in like 1940 or something like that. And he was thinking that it had to have been the Nazis that were coming over to America and gassing certain people's houses and stuff. And I was like, I don't know. Just think about it like for the numerology and the propaganda that was also going on around at that point. And he had mentioned about how 33 people got gassed in their house and over the span of 12 days. And the news articles all said that it was 33 people over the span of 12 days. And it just kept on saying, I was like, dude, I'm telling you, every time they go with that type of numerology, it has to be something. And so then I started looking up like, all right, what is the symbolism with 33 and 12 whenever combined like that? And then of course it has to get a little Kabbalistic because Jesus lived to be 33 years old. There's 33 vertebrae. There's 33 levels within Freemasonry and stuff like that. But then you look at the 12, it's the fucking 12 apostles. So of course they're putting it there together.
The 12 signs of the zodiac. Yeah,
exactly. And so I was like, of course that's an occult thing. How are you not seeing it? That's screaming out at you.
And 33 is associated with the sun, which Jesus is also associated with the sun, you know? So 33, the solar lunar cycle, the solar eclipse cycle is 33 years. And the Quran is really heavy on the number 19. And that's why you have like 19 hijackers, Flight 19, Flight 91, COVID-19. And that's associated with the moon because the moon's ecliptic cycle is 19 years.
Whoa.
And you also look at, the sun, right? So you have our calendar on the winter solstice is 12/21, which is 33. And then the spring equinox is 3/21, which is 33. And then when you look at like Jesus being a metaphor for the sun, everyone knows like this from like Zeitgeist and stuff, but it's still true, so like in the northern hemisphere, as the sun begins to work its way from the equator down to the Tropic of Capricorn, it gets lower and lower and lower and lower on the horizon as it gets further away from us. And on the 21st, it reaches its lowest point, and then it kind of sits there for about 3 days, and then it goes up 1 degree.
It resurrects.
Yeah, that's why you have the sun dies for 3 days and is resurrected. And we celebrate the resurrection on Easter, which is the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox.
Damn.
Of course.
And when we associate Jesus with like the Lamb of God, that's like the Aries. That's the Lamb of God. That's the first month in the solar year is Aries.
Dude,
I love this.
Yeah,
we're just gonna let you cook right now. That was great.
Stay
dude.
in the kitchen.
Yeah. So, how do we get into that?
I don't know.
What were we originally talking about, man?
We were talking about the tree of life, and then
the gassing.
Oh yeah, 33. Yeah, 33, and then 19 with the moon. The Quran's really big on 19. The Bible's really big on 33. So it's the sun and the moon.
It's just repurposed information is really all it is.
Another interesting thing, and this is something that Zeitgeist kind of got wrong a little bit, and I think Peter Joseph did it because it was like the first time this information was being brought out. And I think he tried to make it really, really easy because it gets really convoluted because not everything's an apples to apples comparison, but it's clear that it's based on the same principle. But so he talks about Horus dying and resurrecting, having 12 followers and stuff. but really Horus was the resurrection of Osiris. So Osiris is chopped into 13 parts, uh, uh, which leaves 12 parts that are discarded. The 13th part is his phallus,
His dick.
which Isis used to impregnate herself to give birth to Horus. So that's where you have like the 12 signs plus the erection, which is the resurrection.
Oh my
Of the sun.
Wow.
shit.
I have these kind of conversations with.
Check this out. But I think Nimrod in the Bible though has a similar thing where he gets like chopped up, but instead of getting chopped up in 13 pieces, he get chopped up into 19 pieces. So I want to start looking into that a little bit, associating like again with the moon and the Quran.
Dude,
The number 19.
Whenever it comes to especially like, ancient Egyptian kind of stuff like that, when you get into Isis, Osiris, Horus, and Thoth and stuff like that, do you think that like those people back in those days that were, let's just say for a lack of a better word, worshiping these gods and these deities, do you think that they looked at it as literal, or do you think that they were more in tune, like spiritually working with the energies of said mythological god, or both?
It depends, like part of me thinks that was something that the priest class, that the higher echelons knew and understood. Where the lesser, the unwashed masses, the unclean masses probably didn't know. Who knows?
Yeah, the lesser initiated probably took it literal,
but
right?
But the thing with the pagan pantheon, it's a lot more obvious with the pagan pantheon that these are metaphors, for the sky clock, and as a result, the whole of creation, because everything comes from the sky. Like everything down here. So,
well, especially the Greeks, right? I mean, I can't imagine they were like looking at Hercules as a literal thing. It had to have been something.
Going back to the solar messiahs, Hercules is another one. Prometheus gets punished by Zeus. He gets chained to that rock. It's really similar to the crucifixion. Instead of getting stabbed in the liver by a spear, he's getting his liver eaten out every day by Zeus, who's in the form of an eagle. Hercules, instead of having 12 apostles or getting his body chopped up into 12 pieces that get discarded, he performs the 12 labors of Hercules to free Prometheus. And what was Prometheus punished for? For giving humanity the fire of the gods. So that's where you have this thing where he like was basically chained to a rock, really similar to a crucifixion. He basically was crucified and suffered for man's redemption.
So they were literally eating his liver, you said?
Zeus was in the form of an eagle eating out his liver.
That is very like occultic too, if you think about it, like symbolic, I'll say, because if you look at the eagle as a whole, especially within astrology, you got the scorpion, and then it raises its kundalini, and then it turns itself into an eagle. So that way it's not a bottom dweller, and it's looking from a higher perspective. And so if that was the case, and then you compare that to the eating of the flesh, essentially what Jesus was saying, eat of my flesh and drink of my blood. It's like a what was it called? Not communion. Eucharist. And do you think that that's like a correlation there? Like maybe that same story, like that's where the whole idea of the Eucharist started?
Probably. I mean, even looking at Cyrus being broken up into all these little parts, so yeah, probably. And the thing with the Greek myths too was Prometheus was the Greek god that was tasked with creating humans. So he was basically the savior of man, God. He was the one that created us, and then he pays this ultimate sacrifice for our salvation. And you look at Hercules as being the sun, having to go save him, has to go through all the constellations to save him.
Dude, it's all just astrotheology at this point, right?
Yeah, and there could be some history in there too, like with the Bible and the Quran, because a part of it does read like a history book, and there could be stuff that's hidden in there to look at. I think Christians need to start investigating the Quran more.
Really? Why you say that?
I mean, just the way the Bible is all big on the number 33, and the way we see that in all these psychological operations they're pulling off and how it's associated with the sun, and the way the Quran talks about the number 19. And the Quran actually tells you to go look for the number 19, investigate this. They're lying about history. They're lying about this. Go look for yourself.
What?
Oh,
Yeah. So you look at like the number 19. It's in every conspiracy, even more than the number 33. You know.
Oh
Wow.
my God, that makes so much sense. I didn't know that the Quran was on some shit like that.
Yeah, and but both books, I mean, they've been translated a few times, mistranslated a few times. You know, you gotta
Wow.
keep it. You know, you got to be real careful with what you want to hold on to when you read those. But I do. I think Christians need to start investigating the Quran, especially the truthers. You know, but
wow.
Wow.
or
That's-
not. You know, I mean, they're not exactly easy books to read. So
I
Right.
imagine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very
Well,
interesting.
That being said, as far as the moonlight and the sunlight, one being the reincarnation, the other one the straight path to God, which one you guys doing? Because I think I might take the ride again. You know what I mean?
I thought about this recently. You know, I'm like, if there's a slim hope that I can remember even 0.5% about my previous life, albeit through deja vu or synchronicity or something like that, I'm like, it's really not that bad here once you get the hang
Yep.
of it. You know what I mean?
Take the ride again.
Yeah.
yeah, for the longest time, I was like, I'm done with this place. I'm going back. You know, but
Right.
now I start thinking, you know, like think about what I learned in this life. Like imagine what one more ride could do.
Oh, dude.
You know, but then I'm like, fuck, dude, like what if that doesn't happen though? What if I'm like retarded or something, you know? Got a
Hey,
case of the
I
downs.
mean,
You
I
I
That's
mean,
ultimately
dude, you're
up
gonna be
to you.
happy all the time. You're not even gonna have to
Yeah.
worry about nothing.
You'd be
Dude.
really
As
good
long
at
as I got a
piano or
steady
something.
supply of grilled cheese sandwiches, I'm good.
With some chocolate milk, dude.
Yeah.
I
Some
mean,
chicken nuggets.
you'll be
Yeah.
good to go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Cutting stuff with safety scissors.
Yeah. You know what? I actually had a thought about this too, as far as like reincarnation goes. And tell me if I'm wrong, or I like to theorize and philosophize about all this kind of stuff. As far as reincarnation goes, is it possible that the reason we don't remember, why most people don't remember where they came from is because the previous incarnation or the previous way we were living was so different compared to this that it doesn't even necessarily apply. The rules are all totally different, and maybe the density was a little bit different, and that knowledge isn't going to help you over here, kind of thing. Because if you think about it, that's the same way that like dreams and DMT trips or mushroom trips are. It's like you feel like you're taking on so much knowledge and so much information, but it's hard to really apply geometric fucking symbolism into this life in a sense. And so maybe it's like your mind really only holds on to what is necessary. What do you think about that?
I don't know, man. Ever since that dream, which is like 3 years old, I've been thinking about this like a lot throughout my life, and I have no idea. Like it's to me, it seems kind of bunk to me that we don't remember our lives and why we're here. And I guess that's probably part of the game. I don't know, but I just feel like it would. I feel like it would have been a lot easier to make certain decisions if you remember the mistakes you made in your past lives.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or if you were allowed to live longer, like if we didn't have to tap out at a maximum of 120, if we can live like fucking Methuselah to 900 years old or whatever,
yeah, if we were like 25 years old for like 100 years, that'd be great.
That'd be sick.
So wise, and the people before you, as wise as they are teaching you stuff as you're coming up, dude, like it would be just exponential as far as, how wise we would all be.
Yeah. And, now there's a real issue that, with inoculations and diet and GMOs and, all the processed foods, like people are losing their mental capacity younger and younger ages now. People are going more senile and dementia and pre-dementia. And yeah, it's
and losing themselves through anxiety, which is ultimately just a disconnection from what you truly are, if you really think about it. You know.
Oh
like-
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
anxiety and depression. Yeah.
Right. Right.
If you're feeding into those thoughts that aren't even you.
But
the
sometimes
first place.
sometimes diet, can cause that stuff too.
Oh,
And
big time.
so yeah, it's because now people's like minds are kind of starting to fade. 50, 60 years old, and that's not a lot of prime years.
Mhm.
Where you're like healthy and young and capable and ambitious. It's not a lot of years.
I feel like whenever I'm 50, I'll really have a pretty damn good grasp on what's going on here. I hope that I don't die at that age. That would suck.
Yeah, yeah. It's my goal to be as young and healthy for as long as possible.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
dude. So when me and Sean, we had previously talked on the most recent episode about getting you on here. We kind of wanted to dive into what are some possible like simple rituals. Do you do like any kind of simple rituals? An example of that would be like, I learned that if you put like a drop of honey in your coffee, that it's going to make your day sweet as long as you go with that intention kind of thing. Is there any like kind of simple rituals that you do on a daily basis that maybe you don't even, it's just part of your daily thing?
Routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too different than what you're talking about, but I'll bless spiritually clean and bless my food and drink a lot. I do that a lot, so that's a big one.
Oh, that is a good one.
You know? So that's something you can try with your coffee before you put the cinnamon in it,
Mhm.
like bless and clean it, and then put the sugar or honey in it.
I've also been told that going widdershins or counterclockwise is better to stir your coffee in the morning. I don't know. Maybe it's like getting in the flow of just the flow.
Yeah, like if I'm cooking like a pot of food or something, I'll stir it really like at a steady pace, without clanking on the edges, and then I'll bless it, and then really clean it, and kind of use up divine words of power and stuff while I'm doing it. And so, do you say that you were told to go widdershins?
Yeah, because I believe it's because if you look at a lot of the spiral like things that are within nature, whether it be shells or just certain flows of water and stuff, that it's always usually like counterclockwise.
Oh, okay. I wonder if that has something to do with why in Mecca they walk counterclockwise around the Kaaba.
That could be it.
I think that came up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was always wondering, like, why do they walk widdershins? Why do they walk counterclockwise? I was always wondering that.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Mirroring nature.
Yeah, makes sense.
It would make sense. Yeah, to go with the flow of what everything else is already doing.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Even though everything goes clockwise over the earth, it still makes sense to me. If like flowers and everything that's manifesting down here is counterclockwise, it would make sense.
Oh yeah, good point. So all right, well I think that we're probably going to wrap it up here. And Sean, do you have a card pulled, sir?
Oh, I have two, if that's okay.
It's always okay.
I got the Ace of Wands
We get that one all the
and
time.
the Two of Wands.
Oh, right next to each other.
Yeah. The Two of Wands is very interesting looking.
The Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands. Yeah, they're back to
Yep.
back. So the Ace of Wands, the gift of creation is presented from the divine. Be open to exciting new possibilities. The Ace of Wands brings the gift of a new beginning rooted in passion and creativity. The hand of the divine emerges from a cloud, offering a single wand of visionary inspiration, sprouting green leaves. Beneath the wand is a lush landscape that includes a castle, peaceful river, and a handful of fertile trees. This scene depicts stability, prosperity, movement, and the current of emotions that propels you forward, supporting a new venture. And the spiritual message behind it says, when travel and adventure opportunities present themselves, embrace them. Beginning a health or fitness routine will bring renewed confidence and excitement into your life. This is an ideal time to take action on goals or creative projects that you've been thinking about, so stay open to divine inspiration. So basically the key meaning to this card would be inspiration and creativity. So, and new beginnings.
Yeah.
Good.
Probably why
card.
I keep pulling it, man. The tarot's like, lose some weight, fatty.
Yeah.
Do something.
It's almost like the Fool card if you think about it. It's a new beginning, and maybe it's just another chapter.
Yeah, all of the ones are basically new beginnings, and then the twos are like a fork in the road or a decision you have to make.
You're on one, because it says the upright key meanings to the Two of Wands is choice. So that's interesting. So it says, a choice to expand your world awaits. Do you stay with what you know or choose the unknown adventure? The Two of Wands card is an invitation to ponder the future. A man looks out onto the vast expanse of land from a position high up in his luxurious castle. He has already established his position of stability, and now he craves adventure. One wand is securely anchored to the castle wall, showing his efforts to build his fortune, while the other wand is held above his head. In his other hand, he holds a globe, as if to say the world is in his hands. Where will he go next? The Two of Wands signals an opportunity to plan for the next exciting phase in an already rich and full life. The spiritual message behind it is weigh your options before making a big decision and heed intuitive guidance in your decision-making process. You're making plans and taking your goals to the next level and phase of life, which is exciting. Your life continues to be enriched when you follow a spiritual path and explore new directions. So, choice and future plans. And also the numerology of 2 equals choice or partnership.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, speaking of, the new beginnings and possible partnership, you did start a church, and you may have some new apostles. So
got to throw it out there one more time.
I got to plant many seeds, and not all of them are going to sprout. You just got to make
suggestion.
That's all. Yeah, dude. Byron, do you have a website or anything for your church yet?
No, not yet. But that's the plan, because I don't want, especially for the church proper, I don't want just a website. I want a forum too, community.
Oh, right on.
But as long as I have a newsletter, that'll be fine. But it would be nice to have an actual community, But I could do that on like Telegram or something else, I guess.
Yeah, man. When you get that going, man, just let us know, dude.
I will.
We'll pump it out there and let the one know.
When are you thinking about whenever the next steps of actually starting the Patreon and starting the basically internet church at that point? Like when do you plan on starting that?
Probably before the end of the year.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely talk before then.
But I have a lot of stuff coming out. I have a bunch of new products coming out. One for Become a Living God publishing company, and then I have more machines for myself and jsgarrett.net, and then I'm talking with someone later this. So I got a few things going on. Some things I don't want to talk about quite yet until more into the fruits of being manifested,
Oh,
get the ball going a little more, but got a lot of stuff going on first. So, you're
a busy man.
Yeah. And, I'm going to be releasing, some really beefed up machines here pretty soon. And, so the first thing I got knocked down is, the publishing company, Become a Living God. And then I have like 6 more machines I'm going to be putting out pretty soon. So I got a lot going on as far as that new stuff, but
perfect.
Right on, dude.
So as far as that Become a Living God, you're saying that you're starting a publishing company?
No, that's a colleague of mine. I'm going to be building some machines for them. Just like for that I do for JS.
Oh, perfect.
So, but the ones for Become a Living God are like very specific for them. It's they're the only ones that have those ones. So
okay,
very very special.
All right.
I don't know if I'm at liberty to talk about it yet, but
that's okay.
But I'll talk to you guys after the show.
Yeah, I got something I want to talk to you about after the show too. I just can't right now.
Okay.
But I guess we'll wrap it up right there. We'll get over to Lord Byron's guided meditation, which is always so much fun.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, dude. So thank you, Byron, for joining us on this one. It was a lot of fun, brother. We'll see you on the other side in the meditation. But if anybody wants to be able to follow us and support us and join us, we have several different ways of being able to do so. You can come check us out on TikTok. It's tiktok.com/metamysteries. Also Instagram. We have all those links down in the show notes below. But the best way to be able to support us would be to go to patreon.com/metamysteries. That link is down there. If you go over there, you get the shows a couple of days in advance. It literally the day after we shoot, because we shoot at night, so we're not going to stay up until 3 a.m. editing. But if you go over there, you literally get the show the day after it's shot. So if you're interested in that, you want to be able to get the shows a couple of days in advance. You want to be able to see the video. Of course, we do have YouTube if you want to watch the video, but sometimes there'd be commercials and interruptions and stuff like that over there. That's the great thing about Patreon, is that it's completely commercial free. You get the shows a couple of days in advance, and you'll be able to slide into our DMs. We reply to everything, so we appreciate all the one who is supporting us in that way. If you don't have the means, or maybe it's just not your thing to be able to support us in that way, then there are other ways, as I said, coming and checking us out on all the different social medias. But the next best way would be to go to, if you're listening to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever your podcast player is, leave a review, give us 5 stars, tell us, you can give us 1 star too. That's okay. We're not perfect. But we try to be. We're aiming for that. But yeah, if you would just leave a review, it really helps the algorithm big time to help the one find the one. That's what it's all about.
That's it,
just
man.
finding each other and recognizing that it was all an illusion, that we were split in the first place. So yeah, definitely come check us out and support us in whatever ways that you can. We really appreciate the one for doing that. But yeah, I guess we're going to wrap it up there. Get over to the meditation. It's going to get a little weird. It's going to get a little wild. It's going to get, fucking Lord Byron Jester.
Lord Byron? Yeah, dude. I'm looking forward to it.
So, I guess with that being said, if Lord Byron Jester came here and he taught you anything, it's that you don't know what you don't know. So don't just get weird.
Stay weird.
Open doors inside your mind. Leave the ordinary far behind. Colors swirl and stars align. In the meta mysteries you'll find.
Okay, just sit and relax for a second. Like exhale, feel all your muscles relax. Feel the muscles in your face relax. Take slow, deep breaths. Fill your stomach up like a balloon. Like really fill your stomach up with all that air. And when you slowly exhale all that air out of your stomach. Just inhale. And again, release all your muscles, release the tension in your face. Just take a few breaths. And every time you exhale, just go deeper into relaxation. Okay, now imagine a white golden light about 3 to 4 feet above your head. Now feel that light shining down on you. Visualize an empty sphere right above the crown of your head. It kind of goes into the crown of your head about an inch or 2. Now as we take a slow, deep breath, See that white golden light from above your heads, from the heavens, coming down, and fill that sphere with that white golden light. Take a few deep breaths. As you inhale, just feel it fill up with that white golden light. Now for this one, we're going to vibrate the name Elohim. And we're going to pronounce it Elohim. So take a slow deep breath. Feel the light from heaven coming down and filling that sphere with that white golden light. And now we're going to vibrate the name Elohim. And then as we vibrate that name, like really visualize and see that sphere of white golden light that you're filling up right at the crown of your head, not just filling up, but getting brighter and activating. Take another slow deep breath. Bring in that light from heaven into that first sphere right at the crown of the head. I'm going to vibrate Elohim again. One more time. Okay, so now we're going to take a few deep breaths. Now visualize another empty sphere right where your throat is. And it kind of goes up into the mouth a little bit, maybe an inch below the collarbone. But an empty sphere right where your throat is. And now, as we take a slow deep breath, as we inhale, visualize that white golden light from the heavens coming down through the first sphere, right at the crown chakra, coming right through that into the empty throat chakra, not the chakra, but the sphere in the throat, and bring that white golden light down to fill up that sphere in your throat. Take a slow deep breath. Fill it up with that white golden light. And now we're going to vibrate the name Yod He Vav He. Slow deep breath, fill it up with that white golden light. Yod He Vav He. Take another slow deep breath. Fill it up with that white golden light. And this time, don't just fill it up with that white golden light. Really feel that light intensify and activate. Yod He Vav He. One more time. Yod He Vav He. Okay, now visualize an empty sphere right where your heart center is. And now as we take a deep breath, we're bringing that white light, that white golden light down from the heavens, down through the first sphere at the crown chakra, fully lit up and activated, through the spine, down to the sphere at the throat, fully lit up and activated. And we're going to pass that and go right into this empty sphere in the heart. And we're just going to fill it up with that white golden light. So take a slow, deep breath. Fill it up. And this time we're going to vibrate the name A, Hey, Yay. Fill it up with that white golden light and really fill it, intensify and activate. Oh, hey, oops. Do it one more time. And the heart center is a really important one. So this time when you activate it and you feel it intensify, like really feel it come out of your heart and almost fill the whole room, your whole aura. Slow, deep breath. Okay, now visualize you have a empty sphere right in your stomach, just a few inches, like maybe 3 fingers above your navel. An empty sphere right there. So you're going to take a slow, deep breath, and again, bring that white golden light down from the heavens through your the sphere on your crown, fully lit up and activated, down through your spine to your throat, fully lit up and activated, down the spine, right to your heart, fully lit up and activated, and down into the empty sphere, right in your stomach, right around where your liver is. Take a slow, deep breath. Fill it up with that white golden light. And this time, we're going to vibrate the name of God, Adonai. So take a slow, deep breath. Fill it up with that white golden light. Take a slow, deep breath. Fill it up with that white golden light. And this time really feel it light up, intensify, and activate. A slow, deep breath. Bring that white light down through the center column. Fill up the stomach one more time. Okay, now we're going to have visualize an empty sphere, like right where the groin is, where your root chakra and sacral chakra are. And again, we're going to breathe in. We're going to bring that white golden light down from the heavens, through the first sphere at the crown of our head, down through the spine, through the second sphere in the throat, down the spine to the third sphere in the heart, down the spine to the fourth sphere in the stomach. All of these are going to be lit up, bright, activated. And then we're going to bring it down past that and fill up that empty sphere right in the groin area. So take another slow, deep breath. Fill it up with that white golden light. And now we're going to vibrate the name of God, Agala. Take a slow, deep breath. Take a slow, deep breath. Fill it up with that white golden light. One last time. Really feel it intensify and activate. Take a few deep breaths and bring that white golden light all the way through the heavens, all the way down your central channel through all of the spheres we just activated, all the way down into the earth. Now feel that white golden light as you breathe in. Engulf your whole body, maybe about a 3 feet, 4 foot diameter around you. Now start breathing in that white golden light. Slow, deep breaths through every single pore in your body. So breathe in this white golden light omnidirectionally through every pore in the body. Now we're going to take a few of those deep breaths and bring that white golden light, concentrate it to right at the base of the spine. Now as we take a slow deep breath, we're going to bring that white golden light from the base of our spine, from the tailbone, all the way up our central channel, going up the spine. And then as we exhale, it's going to break the crown and cascade and waterfall all around your whole aura. Take a slow deep breath. Slowly bring it up the spine. Exhale. Waterfall and cascade all around you, this white golden light. Take a deep breath, bring it up the spine. Exhale. Waterfall all around you. And this time, the next couple times we do this, let's really pay attention and feel for any type of energetic blockages and do your best to break through those blockages. So take a slow deep breath. Exhale. Yeah, do that a few more times. Okay, so now we're going to call on the angels in each of those spheres with the elements. So the first one we're going to call on is going to be Metatron at the crown. And then it's going to be Raphael for air at the throat. Gabriel for water at the heart. Michael or Mikael at the stomach or the liver for fire. And Uriel at the in the groin for earth. And so it's just going to be white for Metatron and the spirits of aether, yellow for Raphael and the spirits of air, blue for water for Gabriel and the spirits of water, red for Mikael and the spirits of fire, and I think just for now, I think green will do for the earth. Some people will do brown, green, or like a hazel kind of color. Let's just do green at the groin for Uriel and the spirits of earth. Okay, so we're just gonna take a slow, deep breath. Fill that first sphere at the top of the crown with the white light. Now we're just gonna vibrate Metatron's name. Metatron. One more time, fill it with the white light. One more slow deep breath, fill it with that white light. Now, take a few deep breaths and visualize Metatron right above your head. And we're just going to do a short little invocation for him and the spirits of Aether. So take a slow deep breath, visualize Metatron right above your head with a bunch of protective spirits all around him, all around you. I'm just going to call upon. I call upon Metatron, the guardian of the heavens. Open up your gate and let the spirits of Aether flow through me. Now for the next 4, I guess it'd be good to know what direction you're looking. If you know where north, east, south, and west are. If not, just do your best. So now we're going to breathe in. And then as we exhale, we're going to fill the sphere in the throat up with a yellow light. And this is going to have the characteristics of air. So as we begin to activate it, make sure you really hone in on the element of air and, intelligence, clairvoyance, communication, all those airy attributes. So take a slow, deep breath. Fill that sphere up with the yellow element of air. And now we're going to vibrate Raphael's name. Really feel that air element intensify. And with this one, almost fill the whole room, fill up with the air element. Now, if you know which the cardinal directions are, which way you're facing, visualize Raphael standing in the east with the air flowing all around him, the yellow color, the air flowing all around him, with a bunch of the spirits of air all around you, protecting you. And now we're just going to do a quick little invocation. I call upon Raphael, the guardian of the east. Open up your gate and let the spirits of air flow through me. Okay. So now we're going down to the heart. We're going to fill it up with the blue light for the element of water. And as you begin to activate it, really hone into those water attributes: emotion, intuition, the astral realm, feminine principles. Take a slow, deep breath. Fill that sphere up with the blue light. And now we're going to vibrate the name Gabrielle. Feel that water intensify. Take a deep breath. Make that blue light brighter, stronger, more activated. Breathe. Now we're going to do one more time. And this time when we vibrate Gabrielle's name, fill the whole room, fill up with the elemental powers of water, that blue light, emotions, intuition, astral projection, feminine. Take a deep breath. Breathe. Now visualize the Archangel Gabriel standing in the west with a bunch of that water element behind him and all around him. The spirits of the water there protecting you, filling the room. I call upon Gabriel, the guardian of the west. Open up your gate and let the spirits of water flow through me. Okay. So now we're going to come down to the stomach. And this time we're going to be channeling the fire element. So as you take a slow, deep breath, fill it up with that fiery red light and really hone in on the fire element, like willpower, force, masculinity, like really focus on those fire elements. And for this one, we're going to vibrate the name Michael, which is Mikael. So take a slow, deep breath. Fill it up with that bright red, fiery light. Mikael. Take a deep breath, fill it up with that bright red light, and as we vibrate Michael, really feel that light intensify. Michael. And this time, feel that fire, like fill the whole room. Feel that creative force, destructive force, willpower, might, courage. Go. Now, we take a few breaths. Visualize Michael standing in the south with a bunch of the fire element, the color red, all behind him, filling the room, and a bunch of the elemental spirits of fire all around you, protecting you. I call upon Mikael, the guardian of the south. Open up your gate and let the spirits of fire flow through me. Okay, now focus on the sphere right at the groin. We're going to take a slow, deep breath. We're going to fill it with a green light. And this time we're going to vibrate the name Uriel. a slow, deep breath. Feel that light really intensify, that green light. We'll do that one more time. This time we're going to fill the whole room up with the color green and the earth element. You could probably visualize like trees and vines everywhere. And we're going to charge that sphere one more time. Take a few slow, deep breaths. And visualize the Archangel Uriel standing in the north, the color green behind him, the earth element behind him, that grounding, fertility, prosperous energy, a bunch of earth spirits filling the whole room and protecting you. I call upon Uriel, the guardian of the north. Open up your gate and let the spirits of earth flow through me. Now we're going to hold on to all of the angels. We're going to visualize all the angels in their directions protecting us. So take a few deep breaths. We're going to we got Metatron and the spirits of Aether looking down on us from the heavens, protecting us. We have Raphael in the east with the spirits of air protecting us. Gabriel in the west with the spirits of water protecting us. Michael in the south with the spirits of fire protecting us. Uriel in the north with the spirits of earth protecting us. Now just visualize pentagrams right in front of all of these angels of white golden light, right side up pentagrams, and we're just going to banish any negative energy that's still left in the room. So just visualize the archangels and creating those pentagrams all around you, one in each cardinal direction, and we're just going to say, about me flames the pentagram, away ye profane, and just visualize any leftover negative energy in the room just being expelled, banished from sight. The whole room's filled with a white golden light now. So now really see that white golden light from the beginning of the meditation, from the heavens filling the whole place. And we're just going to breathe in that white golden light through every pore in the body. And as we do this, every breath, feel that white golden light expand further out past your body, out past your aura. Feel the whole room just fills up with this white golden purifying light. Above me shines the sixth-rayed star. May this temple be blessed and made pure. So mote it be. Okay. Take a few deep breaths. Really take in that white golden light. Make sure the whole room is purified by this point. If you feel confident with this, you might be able to expand it even further and clean your whole house or your whole apartment and just fill it with the white purifying light. Okay, so now we're going to do a really simple but short exercise from Basic Psychic Development by John Friedlander. It's actually the very first exercise in the book, I believe. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to get rid of a negative stored emotion that we're holding on to from our past. So I want you to just take a few deep breaths, and I want you to try and think of a time when something gave you like really bad anxiety, or think back on like a negative emotion at a time of a situation where you felt really negatively about it. And it doesn't have to be a big one at first. You can start off with something small, you know. Like maybe you were rude to someone you shouldn't have been rude to. Maybe someone was rude to you and they shouldn't have been rude to you. But just recall a simple basic memory from your past that you're still holding on to, that's giving you anxiety and possibly holding you back. Okay, so as we breathe in that white golden light again through every pore in the body. And as you breathe in, try to think of what there was to learn from that situation. What you've learned from that situation. So take a slow deep breath. Take in all the knowledge and wisdom that was gained from that event or could be gained from that event. And as you exhale, you're just gonna release it and let it go and get rid of it. Just take a slow deep breath. Breathe in that white golden light. Think about all the wisdom and knowledge, everything that was to learn from that event. And as you exhale, you're just going to let it go and feel that event just go away. Just get it out of your aura, get it out of your energetic body. You then fill your whole aura up with that white golden light. Really purify all of that. Think about all the knowledge and wisdom that was to gain from it. And as you exhale, you're just going to banish all that negative energy, all that stuff you're holding on to that you don't need to, banishing it for good, banishing it from your aura, from your energy body. Let's do this a few more times. I can feel some things not wanting to let go. White golden light, knowledge, wisdom, everything that you've learned. Exhale, just banish it. Okay, I can still feel something holding on to someone out there. So let's really try to get it out. This time, as we inhale, instead of breathing that white light from every pore in the body, let's bring it down from the heavens, that white golden light, and we're just going to have it push out any negative energy all through our aura. Take a deep breath and just feel any of that gunk, chains, shackles, it might be a cord or a rope attaching you to that event. So take a deep breath, and we're just going to force all that stuff out, down through our legs, and then exhale, banish it. Take another deep breath. Bring that white golden light all the way down from your crown and force any of that negative energy. Really pay attention to your aura, where it is. Get it all the way out, all the way down to your feet. And then exhale and banish it for good. We're going to do that one more time. Banish it for good. Take a few slow deep breaths. Purify your aura. Purify your room. If you're savvy enough, purify your house. Just breathe in that white golden light. Purify everything. Exhale. Get rid of everything. Take a few deep breaths. Okay. I think that's good, man. I think whoever was holding on to that, I think we got it out. Man, I feel a lot better. I just better turn my camera on. I kind of feel like I should.
Deep, dude.
I kind of feel like I should have had the camera on, man. Like halfway through it, I was like, man, but I didn't want to turn it on like halfway through it. I kind of feel like I should have had the camera on, dude.
Oh, that's all good, dude.
That was
You
great.
took us where we needed to go, man.
Yeah.
Byron,
Yeah.
I just got to say, like, whenever you were calling upon the angels and stuff like that, I was like, God, I love you, Byron. You are man,
Yeah.
so
I
good.
was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I could feel it activating in other people. You know, that's why when I was doing that last part, breathing out that negative attachment to that memory, to that moment, I could feel someone having trouble getting rid of it. So
That might have been me. I was because I wanted to go to the deepest, darkest, most like treacherous
expert
part that
level.
I could go to. Yeah,
yeah.
from
Man.
childhood, which is usually the darkest stuff.
But like that meditation, man, with the angels and stuff, because you're packing the room full of spirits, and if you do like a spell or something after that, or an evocation or something, it's so much more powerful, because you got you just pack the room with spirits. You got rid of all your junk holding you back. All your psychic senses are basically starting to activate, so you're a lot more in tune magically. So it's a good one, man. And it's universal. You could swap out the angels for like the Greek gods, or you just gotta associate the elements with it, or the demons, or
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely felt the sense that this room was not just me in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I definitely had
yeah.
that sense, like the room got a little more crowded.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Yeah, that was, man, that was so good.
I feel like I'm
love
still
that.
trying to come back, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Like, I'm still
I
like,
am. I am.
I feel like Neo using his eyes for the first time, It's
Yeah.
like, why do my eyes hurt? It's the first
Yeah.
time you're using them,
Yeah, it's like coming out of a DMT trip. It's like you're back to normal and you're out of that realm, but you still feel like
Still got
whoa.
one foot in, one foot out,
Yeah, still kind of got that awe going.
Yeah. No shit, dude. Damn. Thanks, man. That was great, man. I
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was quite a service.
Yeah, I thought about like cleaning the aura again and sending it all back to the senders, but I thought the shadow work one was probably more important. Something told me to do that one.
I feel like it's the thing that we just intuitively avoid, It's just you don't want to go there, but I think that we needed to go there, man. So I appreciate you calling that out, man, and making that judgment call, because that was wonderful, man. I feel pretty good.
Yeah, dude. Byron, you are the man. And I think next time will definitely not be 3 months from now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No, that's just ridiculous.
Let me talk to the guy I'm going to be building those machines for, because I think we should get him on, because he's colleagues and friends with JS and Leighton and all those guys,
Mhm.
So we're all kind of like in the same circle, even though I'm like the new guy, but
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I would love that.
All the guys you've brought on before, in the past, man, it's been pretty interesting.
I'll hit him up
To say the
tomorrow.
least.
He's probably asleep now, but I'll hit him up tomorrow. He's here in Utah too. He's down in southwest Utah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're available every Monday and Wednesday night. We have our schedule set for every Monday and Wednesday night. So whatever one best for you and him, that we can set that up.
Well, see, I like that, because like the closest things to patrons that I have. So Mondays for the moon, Wednesdays for Mercury, right? And Hecate and Hermes are like my favorite spirits to pretty much work with. Hecate and Hermes. So that's the moon.
I've been seeing a lot of people working
Mercury.
with Hecate lately.
Oh yeah, she's super popular. Left hand path and right hand path people like her, so she's pretty marketable like that.
Yeah, man.
She's a triple-headed goddess. Is that the one that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, there's also a double-headed and single-headed version, but yeah, triple-headed goddess.
Damn.
So people kind of know her as.
So what is that, like Mother, Maid, and Crone also encompassed within that?
I think it's different than that. I think it's more like the trifold crossroads, like heaven, earth, and the underworld.
Interesting. Interesting. Within that meditation, dude, I started to see like, and it's happened to me before, but this was like a lot more interesting than usual. I kept seeing these three things popping into my field of view, and it was like at one point they were like one would pop in, and then the other one would dissipate. This one would pop in, and then there was another one at the other lower corner that would pop in. It was just like kept going like that. It was almost like they were trying to present themselves to me in some sort of way to let me know that there was some sort of intelligence behind it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I couldn't tell what I was looking at, but there was three of them. So
There's
I don't know.
there's something magical about just the resonance whenever you're humming like that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
especially with the what is it, the gateway tapes. There's
Mhm.
something about the resonance whenever you're like syncing up, and especially, you know, hearing you hum in my micro or in my headphones, and then me humming along with you. It's like almost like an echoey and internal hum resonating at the same time. I thought that was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
that was awesome.
I like to do it pretty slow and kind of bassy too. I think that kind of helps. But you can tell, like the first one I did, I was like, oh, that's a little too fast. I got to slow that down a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was great, dude. It was great.
yeah, you know what you're doing, Byron.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. It's like playing music or something.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, all right, Byron. I mean, this was awesome, dude, and we'll definitely make it happen again. And for anybody that wants to be able to reach out to you, we'll have your links down in the show notes. And
Yeah.
if you want to come and check out your store or anything like that, we'll have that down there.
Oh, sweet. And yeah, if you'd like to make a tax deductible donation to my religious nonprofit.
Byron's
So-
got a church.
Might be interested
Yeah.
in that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta get that going. But yeah, I got so many products that I'm releasing right now, and a couple of them need a little bit of research and development first. So yeah.
Okay. Well,
Hell
fun.
yeah, man.
get some guinea
fun.
pigs. That's cool.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Until next time, we'll see y'all on the flip side.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Voices drift on winds untamed. Words like spells that can't be named. Close your eyes and feel the sound. Journey where no bounds are found. Open doors inside your mind. Leave the ordinary far behind. Colors swirl and stars align. In the meta mysteries you'll find.